times the damage. Yeah, we've definitely got new ones.
20, what, you, what? 20% chance to do 3 times the damage?
No, that's not at all close to what I just said.
I'm sorry, but what'd you just say?
The rolls on it are lower damage, resistance increases damage dealt. And then we got Rayce 50% slower, and the last round in a magazine has a 25% chance to deal 2 times the damage.
Huh. I think that might be one imported from the Fallout, like from, not, I'm not saying the Fallout 4. Fallout 4.
Weapon or just melting down. And
yeah, we got new stuff.
And that is how you get the 4-star legendary weapon. Now, this actually was really cool because a lot of people that I was running into were freaking out over it. We would be trading, even people that were like level 150, 160, they would see that in my inventory when we're trading, and they would just freak out. They're like, oh my god, how do you have a 4-star legendary weapon? And this is exactly how I did it. I think it was really cool. Now, I do not know how to get the 5th star.
Worst scam so far.
Alright, Rayce.
Recently, I did a video about Earth 2. In my eyes, it's
gosh, Monica Mine is really hard to get out of.
Monoga?
Is it though?
Entertainment sector with a small team, limited resources, and the largest
Monanga, actually, it's Monanga.
Or B, a pyramid scheme and a scam that will never deliver and was never intended to. Take your pick.
Hey Max.
I think it's the first one. That can do it. A lot of anger and.
You streaming yet?
Yeah.
It's the same game.
So are you proud of your 100 subscribers?
Yes.
Holy fuck. Holy shit, it is exactly the same scam.
Oh Lord.
Who are they? They also have 50 rocket ships. Who plant trees, we're gonna make laser eyes. This is the most unapologetic scam I've ever seen. This is...
Now, finally.
That's a colossal amount, actually, because in just a minute 30 flat, this
Now, the question is, how expensive is this brand new feature?
It did a lot. It did do a lot.
True.
Because I wonder if you go, here's my theory, you go to the Tinker's Workbench, and you select 1 mod, 2 mod, 3 mod, or 3-star mod, and you mod it, and it says that it actually gives you a random set, a random roll of 3 legendaries. It could be absolute garbage, it could be absolute treasure. Trash treasure, it doesn't matter. But you being able to single-handedly pick a gun, yeah. So I think it's gonna work almost like the enchantment system in Minecraft, where when you
this is revolutionary, Rayce. This is revolutionary.
It is. It really is.
I'm actually going to the purveyor to buy some legendary modules.
I'm not sure, but my theory is that it would probably be used.
I don't get it. What the fuck do you buy with Crowd 1? You buy quotes? Oh my god. I'm gonna bring up this website. Let me show you. If any of you, you're taking business courses in university, maybe you graduated with a degree and you're too smart to be scammed. Just in case. If you ever see a fucking site that has to say, we are not an investment scheme, you're fucked. If you disregard something like this and still go in, you deserve whatever happens next.
Dude, oh my god. I just realized all the stuff people are gonna... Oh no. Oh Christ. Rayce, oh my god, Max, you know you can craft legendaries now, right? In Steel Rain, you can craft legendaries. You can modify a gun that's basic and make it a 1-star, 2-star, or 3-star. I think you need materials, but then it just gives you random effects. I know what you're gonna start doing.
How much does it cost?
That's what I'm gonna go check right now, Rayce.
Because if you know what, for example, it could even maybe put the purveyor to shame, because imagine getting good effects, but it's a pipe pistol. But what if you just don't? Because here's the thing. Here's the shamer. I found really good legendaries on guns that I do not use. Like I found like a really cracked legendary, but on a pipe pistol or a harpoon gun.
Scubba dubba dubba dubba.
300 for that and 2,000 for this, way too expensive. But today I'm going to show you guys how to get all this stuff for a lot cheaper. Okay, so first...
Purveyor, knock knock, bitch.
Abandoned.
What's up, guys? My name is Jake, and welcome to Abandoned, episode 54. In a country and economy where it only seems that indoor shopping malls are closing, in 2019, a highly controversial outlier broke that closing streak. On the side of the New Jersey Turnpike sits the American Dream Shopping and Entertainment Complex, formerly known as Meadowlands Xanadu, a name I'm sure for residents who live close by sends shivers through them. So today, let's take a look at the shopping center.
Oh my god, you can get 300 script daily from the Purveyor now.
One that's been through multiple...
Thank you! My god! Fallout, thanks!
Today has an uncertain future.
Ah!
In the mid-1990s, when the military...
I've been asking for that!
...constructing a shopping center. These plans eventually took shape in 1996 when Mills officially announced their plan to build an enormous mall in the Empire Tract, an undisturbed set of marshland around 4 miles from New York City. This plan would effectively destroy and develop much of the land, and immediately this was met by severe opposition from environmentalist groups and local leaders. By 2001, New Jersey's governor, Jim McGreevey, told Mills that his government would not be issuing permits for construction, killing any hope of this project. Though a year later, the New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority came up with a solution for Mills's environmental issue. Actually, they wanted a new and major development in their area, and started a contest to which they would award the land rights to a developer of their choosing. They had a somewhat open plot of land bordering their Continental Airlines arena, which was currently only used for parking. So the
Yep, you need legendary modules.
Set out to take advantage of this idea and retooled the mall project into something brand new that they called the Meadowlands.
My god!
This proposal was nothing short of enormous. They wanted to build a 4.8 million square foot super mall and entertainment complex filled to the brim with shopping, sports, and entertainment. This proposal was packed with stuff too. Not only would there be regular shopping, but Xanadu would feature a lot more. Believe me, there's an ambitious long list of stuff that they wanted to pack into this all-encompassing complex, such as a 20-story indoor ski slope, an indoor wave pool and water park, a New Jersey Sports and Music Hall of Fame, a giant movie theater complex, wildlife museum, Formula One indoor racetrack, a 3,000 seat concert venue, underwater shark exhibit and restaurant, a circus and clown school, over 2 million square feet of office and hotel space, and finally, an environmentally themed restaurant with a working volcano. Yeah, and that wasn't even the entire list of the absolute madness these developers were creating. Xanadu was nothing short of a massive concept, and would have been one of the largest indoor public buildings ever constructed. Mills and Matt Calley claimed they could build this one-of-a-kind project for around $1.3 billion, which today is around $1.8 billion.
I'm gonna make my first ever legendary
alongside
race.
many other proposals, including ones from Westfield and Hartz Mountain Industries. Ultimately, though, the committee had chosen Xanadu, with their analytics showing that this project would
Is it
create
good?
13,000...
I'm going down to make it right now at a workbench.
If it's good, you should name it the converted one. Or the
Come on.
or the changed one.
That's not bad.
What is
It's
it?
Berserkers, but it replenishes action points with each kill and faster movement speed while aiming. That's
actually
not bad.
That isn't. It's not the worst I've ever seen.
Permanent jobs and supplying the local economy with over $3 billion by 2012. So the Meadowland Xanadu was given the green light.
You can
The ground was
switch your gun's
broken on
legendary
September
effect.
29,
Like if you don't like the ones you
2004,
just
with
got, you
tentative
can
opening dates
get
of
some new ones.
2007.
If you have a
Then
3
came
star.
the problem.
Dude,
As
this
construction
Berserkers
continued,
one,
the Mills
Max, look.
Corporation was
It's not bad, right?
No.
under investigation by the security.
I'm surprised they are building all on a marshland.
Or you can do that to your Secret Service armor. How do you get legendary cores though?
I just realized oh my god. You can crack your armor out. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I need to put some effects on my boss armor.
Exactly. Like you can
That's
make
what I'm
some
gonna do right now, Rayce. Oh my god.
6
Yes,
3-star
thank you for
legendary
telling me
pieces.
that.
They were apparently facing financial problems and couldn't support the mega development. So they sold their partially built Xanadu property to Colony Capital for around $500 million. The Mills Corporation ultimately went on to be acquired themselves and eventually dissolved by the late 2000s. By now, the majority of the main building had been constructed, with a completion date of around 2008, and a number of large retailers already signed on to be day one stores, making around 60% of the mall leased out.
I
As
just
the
got an
entire footprint took shape and the
Overeater's
indoor
false
ski
combat
slope
armor chest
rose
piece.
above the
Increases
asphalt.
damage
The
reduction
interior
up
was
to
painted,
6%
which
as
many
you fill
residents
your
already thought
130
was tacky
meters,
and nice.
and it gives
To
plus
pile on
1
even
strength.
further, Colony
Strength.
Capital announced they would be adding an
Plus 1
observation
strength.
wheel
I
to
mean,
the
I'll take
project
plus 1
with a
strength
huge
though.
Pepsi logo plastered across the side.
Dude, that
almost
is.
pushing the
So
opening date
we got
another
so
year
many
to
new
summer
legendary
2009.
perks.
But
Rayce,
then
I'm
came the
so
housing
excited. I'm like a
crisis
kid at
and
a
the
candy bar.
accompanying recession. Two very catastrophic
Or
events.
candy
Like
shop.
Rico says, I'm like a kid in a candy store.
By May of 2009, Xanadu
Dude,
was
this
over
is
80%
awesome.
complete and
So
almost
you can
90%
start
complete
oh
in the interior
my.
common spaces.
Oh my,
The
oh
snow
my,
slopes
oh
were just
my.
about finished, as were the
Max,
interior lobbies with the massive
this is
LED
gonna be
cone
so
displays.
dumb.
But as the financial crisis worsened, one
Oh
of the
my
main
god.
construction lenders was a subsidiary of Lehman Brothers, who had just become the largest bankruptcy ever.
Oh my god,
So
you
when
did
they
call
went
that.
under, much of the
Hold on,
financing
Rayce.
dollars. Work immediately stopped as Colony was not able to secure enough money to continue. Xanadu sat abandoned and incomplete from this point on. Essentially just the shell of a mega mall which never made it to their projected opening date. During the financial crisis, retailers were especially hit hard as consumers weren't buying as much as they did prior. Having a future opening date to the mega
What's
mall,
it called?
one that
The recession of
was in a rocky
2008.
position, was too big of a commitment for the large brand. Xanadu was hemorrhaging future tenants, and Colony, as well as the New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority, were seeking ways to get the complex open. After trying to sell the property off, nothing had worked, and even after changing the name simply to Meadowlands, the building sat abandoned. In February of 2011, a 150-foot section of the ski slope's roof had collapsed, ironically due to ice buildup. This was yet another delay as the structure sat unfinished. Finally, though, in April of 2011, a deal was made with
Hey,
the new
Rayce.
owner, the
Right.
555
Sorry, I didn't realize my
the
mic
same
was
owners
So
of
you
Mall
can
of
earn
America
legendary
and
cores
the
as
West
rewards by
Edmonton Mall
completing
had
season
agreed
moments,
and
public
secured
events, and daily events.
Wait, what? You can buy
People are gonna
energy
start
what rewards?
grinding events. Huh?
You can earn what rewards?
You earn legendary cores, which you need along with a couple legendary modules to make something legendary.
You know what they should do? You know what they should do with the scripting system? Like, when you turn something into a script, you lose the legendary effects, but you still gain the weapon back.
Yes.
$700 million loan to finish the project. 555 had experience with mega malls in their portfolio, and the unfinished complex in New Jersey was, in their eyes, the next big opportunity for them. With a new opening date of now 2014, just in time for the Super Bowl, they rebranded the mall with a new name, American Dream Meadowlands. 555 had a lot riding on this project too, as in order to get this loan, they had to put up their 2 other malls as collateral and began shaping American Dream into how they wanted it. Along with what was already built, 555 also planned to add another structural addition of an indoor Nickelodeon amusement park and water park, along with an unbranded ice rink. In total, the 555 group pledged to spend another $1 billion to get the complex open. At the time, Governor Chris Christie was also adamant about getting the structure finished. His government also pledged to provide around $200 million in tax incentives to help the Canadian developers along. However, despite all of this money, in tradition, things of course were not going to go as planned.
What in the business? Welcome to the Space Jam! On July 16th, I need to assemble an elite team. Follow me, Doc.
Hi, cannot wait to get this country finished.
I'm Robin. Nerd alert. Space Jam with PG.
Oh my god, you can earn legendary modules in the battle pass now.
Filed a lawsuit to block American Dream from being built. This is absolutely insane, so stay with me. So, prior to any mall construction, there was the 80,000-seat Giant Stadium. However, in 2010, the Jets and Giants opened a new 82,000-seat MetLife Stadium directly beside the old one, then demolished it. In typical American city fashion, the new MetLife Stadium inherited the knowledge of the Super Bowl directly beside
like,
it.
I think 30 or something, you can get the
Otherwise,
display
they were just
frame,
going to have
which you
a
can
massive
display
steel
your
shell in the
power
parking lot.
armor at your
Regardless,
camp.
the two teams
Wait, is it like that little thing that has like a light on the bottom?
Ooh, I know, right?
Is it red or something?
No, it's not red.
Like, is it like what does it look like? Does it have like a light at the bottom?
No, I don't. Oh my god, just stop.
Okay, fine.
Completed mall would overcrowd the parking availability in the area. Again, it's not like they were blindsided by this. The New Jersey Sports Authority made it happen. Anyway, this slowed down progress until 2013, when construction finally resumed on the mall. Xanadu, or now American Dream, had been sitting abandoned and stuck in time for over 4.5 years. Weeds and long grass had been growing alongside the distinct and gaudy exterior, which many residents knew all too well. 555 by now had more or less settled on their final design for the property, and with construction on the theme park and water park well underway, they secured several large and high-end retail brands to open up stores within the American Dream. Despite the positive press on this, work once again abruptly stopped in early 2016 after a potential bond payment
What I'm
fell
most
through.
happy
A few
about
months later,
making
when
it
the construction
legendary
site stalled,
is
the New
it's
Jersey
got
Sports and
a
Exposition Authority
secondary
had swooped
perk
in once again
of
and
+1
offered
strength.
over $800 million in bonds.
Dude, this is game changing. It really
This
is.
became an on and off issue through the rest of the year as financing was delayed. Eventually, 555 sought out even more capital and secured a $1.6 billion investment from JP Morgan Chase.
Remember when you only used to be able to
Finally,
get like
construction
150
was once
script?
again resumed.
I think it's obvious why they made it so you can get 300 because they know
phased
everybody's gonna start
unveils.
crafting
First with the
legendaries,
indoor
a bunch
theme
of them.
park, then incrementally other areas of the mall. They stated that by March of 2020,
This is awesome.
everything should be open, including 350 stores and 100 restaurants. Finally, after over 15 years of construction, delays, abandonment, and new owners, the first phase of the American Dream Mall opened with the Nickelodeon Universe indoor theme park, as well as the ice skating rink. The reception to these were pretty positive, as everyone can enjoy an indoor theme park with actual roller coasters to some degree. 555 knew what they were doing. Nickelodeon Universe was already very successful in Mall of America, so bringing an indoor theme park 8 miles outside of New York City could work well. However, this opening wasn't without its problems. First, day one parking there, regardless of what you're doing at the mall, will cost you up to $24. I'm pretty sure that's not including the up to $80 admission ticket into the theme park. There were also problems with the structure itself. Since the building was essentially designed and partially built in the early 2000s, despite American Dream being a brand new complex, there is rust and mildew throughout. You can just tell by the parking garages themselves that they're older structures. Inside, since there are only 2 attractions open, there are long, white, bland corridors of drywall facades where stores were supposed to go. Even the construction within was also questionable, as guests often noticed many errors across the brand new areas. At this point, the building was simply nowhere near being complete, and arguably not even ready for guests. But 555 pressed on, opening Big Snow, the indoor ski hill, and somewhat soft opening the DreamWorks water park.
What? A mall where you can shop with a water park, racing track, and snow skiing? Bro, that is insane. I need to build something like that in my country.
Craft legendaries though, Rayce. This is insane.
I'm going to make something like this.
Tax for admission, which is absolutely outrageous. They're essentially positioning themselves as a comparable resort destination to places like Volcano Bay or Typhoon Lagoon in Florida. However, both of which are actually cheaper. On the upside though, they did make parking free. So, yeah. And that brings us to today, with yet another recession passing through at the time of writing this, and retail in big trouble. American Dream was forced to shut down in March of 2020, of course coinciding with when they were expecting to have the entire mall open. But since the global pandemic, news has only gotten worse for the property. A number of the many retailers already signed on to open a store within have pulled out or declared bankruptcy in general. 555 have now been scrambling to format their enormous shopping mall to conform to this new trend, as they announced American Dream will be moving to around 70% entertainment and just 30% retail. But even 555 themselves seem to be having a hard time through this economic downturn, as in June of 2020, they failed to pay 2 consecutive months of their mortgage payments for their Mall of America property. According to Bloomberg, 555 is in around $5 billion worth of debt, which isn't comforting news for the New Jersey Supermall's future. When you take a step back and look at this whole mess, it is truly staggering how poorly executed and unlucky the people behind this horrific project were. Plans were getting going in 1996. That was over 23 years ago, and the mall is still not fully open. If you want to see how truly bizarre the construction process was for the property, all you need to do is look at it from the sky. You can see in 2005, the first structure built was one of the parking garages. However, for some reason, a brand new parking lot was paved next to it, then immediately built on top of. You'll also notice that a footbridge to the Giants Stadium was extended to connect to this new garage. But 2 years later, it too was demolished so the rest of the Xanadu structure could be built. I mean, who was the project manager and why was it done this way? It just seems like such a waste of time, materials, and money. It makes no sense to me. Now, as a sort of finished mall, 555 estimates 40 million people a year will visit American Dream, which seems like an overly optimistic projection for an otherwise seemingly cursed project. When it was all said and done, the property ultimately cost over $5 billion to get where they are today. Over $1.1 billion of tax-free government bonds were issued to get the property finished. And really, at this point, it's rather unbelievable what they have to show for that as the end product. Even with the structure open, I don't know if it's ever even going to look like a completed property. And that's the problem when you're inheriting someone else's dated, unfinished architectural design. Especially one this large with so much to do. Yeah, I think the 2006 interiors were tacky and dated, but at least they had a style and color in them. They had a purpose and a custom design to fit that style. From what I understand, the almost finished mall interiors were scrapped, and 555 came in and just slapped some paint on it, said it's modern, and called it a day. To me, in my personal opinion, it looks like a cheap, modern, and boring design. No creativity, and sure, you can chalk that up to saying that it's basically still under construction, but even if so, the massive empty concourses are open to the public, which I believe are open to criticism. Honestly, I don't know what is going to happen to American Dream. 555 are facing an uphill battle with the property along with their extreme debt load. It might also shock you to know that 555 are planning to build another American Dream mall in Miami, which apparently is moving forward. All in all, Xanadu/American Dream was a bad idea from the start. Now there's a 3 million square foot white box that's more often mentioned as the butt of a joke, rather than a legitimate, enticing tourist destination. Researching this, the amount of things that went wrong is astounding, and the amount of money dumped into this stupid project is eye-watering to me. Imagine the things they could have done with $5 billion.
That's not funny money right there. That's a lot of money.
Hey, Rayce, I've got Master Infiltrator and...
Wow.
So you still
Fun fact of the day, and I think this fact might actually blow you away, dude. The CEO of Amazon is worth 194 billion dollars.
What?
That dude is worth more than frickin' McDonald's and Autodesk combined.
And I thought McDonald's had fucking money.
Yeah, it's worth about 50 billion in assets. Abandoned Reveal Casino Resort.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Van Ness, TV host, podcast host, figure skater, gymnast, cat parent, dog parent, person with great hair, and today...
What's up, guys? My name is Jake, and welcome to Abandoned, episode 55. Back in the summer of 2019, we went on a road trip through the northeastern United States. It was the same road trip where we filmed the astonishing Nevele Hotel, and for some reason we were approaching Atlantic City for the ending of our journey. But we weren't going there to enjoy the beaches or try our luck in the casinos. For a while now, I've known about a troubled hotel development on the New Jersey coast. A massive, modern glass tower that looks like a shining star in an otherwise somewhat dated skyline of aging casino hotels. One that at one point was abandoned. So, me being me, of course I wanted to check it out for myself, and while it was a pleasant stay, it got me thinking on how this architectural marvel failed so spectacularly. So, since my last episode in the Abandoned series was on an insane project that burned through millions of dollars, I figured this particular property had its own insane story to tell. One concluding with the resort that still isn't finished today. So, let's take a deeper dive into the Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, or formerly known as the Revel Casino Hotel. This episode has been made possible by my Patreon supporters. If you want to help support the channel and get a bunch of great perks in return, go to patreon.com/brightsunfilms or click the link in the description below. It all started in 2006 when the investment bank Morgan Stanley purchased a 20-acre parcel of land adjacent to the Showboat Hotel and Casino. They spent around $70 million on it with the hope to build a massive and world-renowned casino resort. They placed an industry executive by the name of Kevin DeSanctis in charge of developing this ambitious plan, and by mid-2007, Morgan Stanley announced their official plans for what they intended to do at the site. This included 2 massive 700-foot hotel towers, which were comprised of over 4,000 rooms. This sat above a huge casino with parking space for around 7,000 cars. This was obviously ambitious, especially for the time, as these towers would have been the tallest in all of New Jersey. So eventually later that year, the project was scaled back to just 1 hotel tower for now, with an opening date of 2010. It was called the Revel Casino Hotel. Construction broke ground in late 2007 and went vertical by early 2008. However, those dates are probably sounding a little tedious to all of you. 2008 wasn't exactly the best year to be building a luxury, massive casino.
I know what happened in 2008.
What?
The Great Recession. I think if I'm not wrong, I think up to 14% of the entire country lost all their jobs.
Damn.
That was a horrible time to have a job. You never knew when you were gonna lose your job back then. That sucked. 2008 recession really hurt America. Everybody was going bankrupt.
The United States was facing a detrimental recession. Atlantic City was instantly put in a dreadful situation as consumers weren't spending as much excess income there. And by early 2009, funding for construction was quickly running out, which led to thousands of workers being laid off. Progress then slowed just as the tower was topping out. Suddenly, the Revel appeared to be not such a great idea as the shining tower rose above a now depressed area. By April of 2010, in a shocking move, Morgan Stanley decided to pull out of the project after investing over $1.2 billion. They decided to take a $900 million loss rather than spend the additional $1 billion it would take to finish the project. Because of this, Revel was put in a precarious situation as the half-finished casino was left in limbo. This prompted the remaining developers to scramble, trying to find the necessary funding to keep the construction going. But in a move which, for those of you who watched my American Dream Mall video may find, similar, let's say, New Jersey's then governor Chris Christie had stepped in and announced his state government would be providing $260 million in financing. So now, with the state backing this resort, Revel had refined their project, now canceling the planned second tower and scaling back their hotel rooms to just 1,000. Actually, that second tower was already being built when the developers had canceled it. In early construction photos, you can actually see vertical construction on it alongside Tower 1. However, once it was abandoned, the already built structure was just topped off just a few floors high, and the planned rooms just became other spaces. So now as you look at the building from certain angles, it clearly shows that a second tower was already somewhat built before it was abruptly canceled. Morgan Stanley eventually sold their stake for just $30 million on March 2nd, 2011, and a day later, construction had finally resumed. The dormant site once again sprung to life, and now with consistent progress, an opening date was announced for April 2nd, 2012. Finally, after 6 years of development, the Revel Casino Hotel, Atlantic City, officially opened to the public. The resort had so far cost $2.4 billion to get the doors open. However, that's not to say what they finished wasn't good quality. The resort itself was modern and aesthetically pleasing, with wide-open concourses, great views from the many hotel rooms, and lots of amenities. However, on the casino side of things, it ranked almost at the bottom of Atlantic City's 12 major casinos in terms of winnings. Revel had a pretty lackluster grand opening, yet officials and politicians celebrated the 10,000 new jobs the resort created. Governor Christie said in the official press release for the opening, quote, "The completion of Revel and its opening is a turning point for Atlantic City and a clear sign that people once again have faith in the city's ability to come back and be successful." Revel was
I was in Atlantic City for my vacation.
Did you see a giant bluish tower that had a slant on top?
Nope.
Oh. Like by the coast?
Oh wait, I think I was in Ocean City.
Oh wait, are you by an ocean? Were you by an Ocean City?
Hold on.
Because if you saw that giant building I'm talking about, you just saw a giant failure.
Thought to be the saving grace for the city, a luxury resort to start a new chapter for the area. However, in reality, Revel's financial situation told an entirely different story. By the second quarter of 2012, the resort lost more than $35 million, which was preceded by an even worse third quarter loss of $37 million. By November,
It's a big blue building with a big ball on the top. I'm gonna watch this one after. I know that failure. It's called the Chicago Spire. There's the thing in.
You ever been to the ocean, Bryce?
Yes, and it's an experience that I wish I could come back to.
I
Just
can go
don't.
down to the shore in like 2 hours by car.
Just keep your mouth shut, or else you'll get the horrible taste of salt water. I learned that way. Ugh, I can still remember the taste of it. Ugh.
I can remember the taste of it too. Just
disgusting as hell. The Chicago Spire was supposed to it was supposed to like outbest, what's it called? The Willis Tower. You wanna know what? Well, it did outbest it in depth. Right now, the Chicago Spire is just a giant pit in the ground. It really is. It failed. Chicago Spire was never built, and it sat and it never was ever, known again. The end.
The red flags of a potential bankruptcy, just as Atlantic City claimed Revel failed to pay $12 million in property taxes. They also still owed over $50 million to independent contractors. Despite securing over $100 million in long-term loans, the resort still couldn't keep up with the massive amounts of money they were losing. By February of 2013, just 10 months after opening, Revel had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. They were over $1.5 billion in debt.
I, Amanda Green, with this contract, I relinquish part of my freedom to you.
There's a contract in every cigarette. When you light up,
Yeah, I'm not.
Don't let tobacco control you.
Yeah, I'm not a smoker.
In the filing, Revel
That's
had
fine.
declared that the resort's value had dropped from almost $2.5 billion to
Wow.
now just $450 million. They also revealed that their current trajectory, they wouldn't be profitable until 2017. The resort had ultimately not found any way out of their dire situation, and after a second bankruptcy petition, in August of 2014, Revel announced that no buyers were found to bail the hotel out of its debt, and unbelievably, they added that the Revel Hotel and Casino would close on September 2nd, 2014, just 2.5 years after opening. So in early September, the Revel closed alongside 3 other major casinos in Atlantic City. Now the biggest question was, what was going to happen to the almost brand new mega hotel? Glenn Straub, a developer, decided to bid on the project and eventually won, taking control under his golf course company. So in early 2015, he purchased Revel for just $82 million.
That's
That's just 3.4% of what it costs to build.
Wow,
Straub
that's a
renamed
good
the
deal.
complex to Polo North.
Now I just gotta pay the electric
Hotel and
bill,
casino would
and
be
the water
open for
bill, and the
business by
septic
the
bill.
summer. During this time, the city had actually cut power and
And the
water to the
tax.
building for around 20 days, as the energy companies were engaged in a fee dispute, all while the mega hotel and casino sat empty and now abandoned. Through the rest of 2015, the property was only allowed cold running water and was eventually threatened by the local sewage company to withhold their dumping privileges. Glenn, however, had high hopes for his hotel, stating in early 2016 that the resort would be reformatted into a family entertainment destination, which would also now feature a water park. He also put a new opening date on the table for June of that year. For being abandoned going on almost 2 years at this point, the building itself was apparently in pretty good condition. This was likely because critical engineering staff was kept running the building, keeping it up so major damage wouldn't be inflicted. But all of that came at a cost. They were supposedly spending around $1 million every month just on maintenance. Strav had apparently ensured everything was ready to go, but as summer 2016 came and went, Polo North never opened. Later that year, Glenn revised his intended opening date for now early 2017 and announced a new name for the resort, 10 Atlantic City. However, as you probably guessed, it never opened. After empty promises and little hope from the public, the resort was sinking further and further back into debt. Rumors then began circulating that 10 was seeking a buyer and that its current owners didn't even have the means to open it. Finally, on January 8, 2018, those rumors had actually turned out to be true when it was announced that a company called AC Ocean Walk would acquire the resort for around $200 million. And now, finally, someone was serious about opening this property back up. AC announced that their company would invest another $175 million to bring the abandoned and slowly decaying structure back up to a presentable state for opening. Finally, the hotel was renamed for the last time to the Ocean Resort Casino. And after almost 4 years of sitting empty and effectively abandoned, the not-so-new resort reopened on June 27th, 2018. The hotel opened with over 100,000 square feet of gaming, 19 restaurants, 6 bars, and a full spa. The property also boasts an expansive set of common areas, lobbies, and conference rooms. Most of the original decor, however, is unchanged from the original Revel Hotel, most notably in the guest rooms, as they're pretty much the exact same as they were in the original. Overall, the entire structure is around 6.3 million square feet, which is almost the same size as the Pentagon. So it's pretty large. When I visited, I actually didn't know what to expect, and when I first entered, I was taken back by how actually massive the facility is. I did enjoy the architecture, and I thoroughly enjoyed our room. The views were especially nice. I think the best part about it, though, was the price. King rooms can be as cheap as $49 a night, which is astonishingly good.
Wow.
More on a
Dude, some hotels cost like $300 a night. These guys, a king bedroom for $49. Man, even I can afford that. I could literally buy, like, I could sleep there. That is amazing. I've never seen the prices go that low, homie.
Dirty room and haven't exactly gotten these types of accommodations. However, with that being said, the resort is a bit of a maze, which tends to happen when a building this large is designed for another client. There's also the fact that the resort still isn't really finished. There are several large rooms and even floors in the main tower that are completely unfinished. There are actually 12 entire empty floors where around 600 extra rooms were framed, yet never built. What's even more strange is that these unfinished rooms are in between active finished rooms. So guests are actually staying above and below a section of the hotel that is just unfinished. I suppose it's one of the last remnants of the tumultuous past for this property. So what's happening now? Well, when the resort first opened, they were still not profitable and even sparked rumors of another bankruptcy. The new company which owned it was led by a man named Bruce Diath. However, just 6 months into operating the struggling resort, he was abruptly killed in a single car crash. The result of his death behind the wheel was from an apparent medical event. So one of his primary lenders assumed control of the resort in early 2019, and after another $70 million was pumped into the hotel, The results are finally positive. According to them, Ocean, for the first time ever, was self-sufficient in 2020 prior to the global pandemic. However, of course, due to the events of COVID, it forced the hotel to temporarily close. I am almost positive that the property will not make any money through 2020 for many reasons. Mostly because they had to shut down, and they won't be able to fill the hotel to their desired capacity. And that sets an unknown course into the future, since who knows how long that will last and how big of a financial impact it'll have.
I'm gonna leak this right now, is that I'm actually having a plan to demolish TAA Tower and rebuild it. Guys, look at this. You might think it's good, but it's literally filled with like 48 like meeting rooms. It's literally filled with a ton of meeting rooms and just areas with computers in them. I think I can do better. The date of this I'm not gonna announce because I don't know when I'm gonna do it. But it's gonna be a pain in the ass to do.
Feelings on this are a bit mixed. On one side, I enjoyed our room there. Waking up to the view was great, and the restaurant we ate at was pretty good. It was an interesting experience walking through something I knew had had such a rough history and even sat abandoned for a couple years. But there was also a weird feeling I got there. Like everything wasn't exactly right, and everything was hastily being held together for something that might just collapse. But I guess I am a bit biased since I rather dislike casino hotels altogether. I guess in the end, the story of this building was the most interesting part about it. The otherwise seemingly standard, modern mega resort hides in plain sight unless you know the actual story. Unfortunately for them, however, most people in the area do. To me, the fact that it went through so
I know
much
a lot about this one. Chicago Spire.
Trust my spirit, intuition, gut feeling and suspicion. I am on a mission, reading books for ammunition. Mind unlocked and loaded, potent, explosive. I can be what I want to be, anything.
Chicago Spire is literally a flop onto the face. It never succeeded.
What's up, guys? My name is Jake, and welcome to Abandoned, episode 59. From pretty much any angle, downtown Chicago is a spectacular urban center with a tantalizing skyline.
But anywhere on the outskirts of Chicago is absolutely crappy.
Looks even more impressive and sprawling. All but for one noticeable section of undeveloped land.
A giant gaping hole into the ground.
What's even more mysterious is the enormous man-made hole in the ground. But that's actually the remnants of one of the most ambitious skyscraper projects in North America. It would have been not only the tallest tower in Chicago and America, but at the time, the whole world. This was truly a momentous project that was poised to shape the skyline of Chicago forever. However, as construction began on this monolithic tower, everything just stopped. So today, join me as I look into what this infamous project was set to become, how millions of dollars were wasted on a dream so close to becoming reality, and how an 80-foot deep foundation sits abandoned even to this day. This is the Chicago Spire. This episode is sponsored by Skillshare. Click the link in the description below to get a free trial of Skillshare's premium membership. In 2005, Christopher Carley's development organization, the Fordham Company, proposed a super tall skyscraper reaching 116 floors with a tall broadcast antenna on top. The tower was designed by esteemed architect Santiago Calatrava, the same designer who created the turning torso and also who went on to create the Oculus at World Trade Center. His portfolio shows a vast array of flowing and nature-like approaches to design. The Fordham Spire was to be the ultimate apotheosis of this, a winding curtain of glass that towers over the neighborhoods below. A building that would be a continuous spiral to the very top. The location of this project was set to be in DuSable Park, an undeveloped patch of land along Lakeshore Road. However, because of that road splicing through the middle of the parcel, the tower's surface area would only take up around 2 acres of land, meaning it would have to be rather slender, at least for the area at the time. In early 2006, the Chicago Plan Commission had approved the tower to proceed further. Despite this, however, Fordham was having trouble finding their proper financing to get the project going. They eventually sold off their land and project IP to an Irish-based firm named the Shelbourne Development
Hey,
Company.
Rayce.
Garrett Kelleher was their CEO.
I think they based mole miners off of the guys from New Vegas in what's it called, the Madre Sierra or Sierra Madre, I think.
I have no idea. Isn't it what's it called, the creepy homeboys?
Now with their own money behind the concept, the tower's development moved forward. With that approval from the city, the height restrictions were lifted and plans grew to an all-condominium tower topping off at 2,000 feet. With the name now changed simply to the Chicago Spire, this new design also eliminated the radio tower, making the skyscraper into a 150-floor, 1,193-unit super condo building. The spire would rise well above the already tallest building in Chicago, that being the Sears Tower, and would have become the tallest building on the planet. That title, however, would have been beat out by Dubai's Burj Khalifa, which was set to open in 2010. Regardless, this tower was enormous and quite a unique piece of architecture for its time. In fact, careful consideration was given to how the design would affect natural occurrences like bird migrations, and the winding tower would allow for every apartment to have a slightly unique floor plan. It was promised to be eco-friendly and have minimal disturbances to the otherwise quiet neighborhood. It also was to be constructed so that the majority of traffic would funnel out onto Lakeshore Road and not onto the quiet North Water Street. Actually, speaking of all of those cars, they wouldn't be crowding up valuable surface space. No, this enormous tower would have 7 levels of underground parking, making it the largest in the city. Since that meant only the surface area of the building would be minimal, the rest of the adjacent land would become green park space open to the public. The total estimated cost of the project was somewhere around $2 billion, and as the development company worked closely with local leaders to revise the skyscraper even further, the Chicago Spire had a promising future. With an estimated construction date of 2007 and an opening in 2012, by March of 2007, local residents seemed to have liked where this development went, and now the project met minimal opposition. However, it is important to note that many people had mixed feelings and doubt on even the validity of getting it done. But the developers, of course, pressed forward, and after the zoning committee and subsequent Chicago City Hall both approved the final project plans, Chicago Spire was fully approved and ready to start construction. Hundreds of thousands of dollars was spent on a sales center as floor plans began to pop up on the MLS, and by summer of 2007...
You know, I've been doubting the dedication towers for a bit, you know? Like, I'm not gonna be mean, but like, Wyatt's Tower, Bryce's Tower. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Almost all the towers will never be used at all. I might even have to demolish some of them. Like I'm sorry, like Alex never comes onto the server. Most of the towers are for friends that don't even play with me on Minecraft, so plus the towers even take up a lot of space. I don't know about the towers, man. And plus, don't the towers have too much space? I like the towers. I love these towers, but they don't provide any space at all. They're actually consuming, I want to say roughly, they're consuming literally like a fifth of the entire city.
And your city is
Yeah. I wonder why this stone is just sitting here. it really hurts to say this, but like the towers were built so that way people could go inside them and build whatever they want. However, there's a problem.
I'd be happy to have a tower because I'd love to build.
However, there's a problem with this idea. People would tear into the ceilings and destroy it. And then, one, people would not know how to build. They would destroy into the ceilings and it would break. Number two, people would not fill the space. So most of the tower is empty. Like if you look at this one, let's see, Gunner's Tower. I mean, all of his spaces are filled. No, but yeah, like, some of them are strange. And keep on to the fact is that some of them literally are causing lag. Like my friend, she doesn't have PlayStation Plus. She barely plays PlayStation anymore, and the tower is still up. In fact, I have an idea. If I were to tear these towers down, I have an idea of what I could do here. And the things that I could do here are immense. They're amazing. Like, my tower is absurdly tall. You want to see what's inside of it? I'm not talking, I'm just talking. Look at this. This is all that's inside of it. It's just office room after office room after office room. It's ugly. I don't like it. It needs to change. Now, my idea is, I have an idea for almost like a Vegas Strip style, but not really Vegas, but like, I think I have a really, really good idea for how I could build this. Wow, look at that. Even part of this is not even powered. It's literally broken and busted. Now, could I move the towers somewhere else? I have no idea. Maybe to other cities. There's a possibility I can't. The towers are old. Like, okay.
Hey,
Like,
Rayce, can I just say something?
What?
I would really appreciate it if you could make me a tower.
Let's mark down some cons. Con number 1, they're never used. They're always empty. Con number 2, they're consuming literally a ton of space that could be used for something better. 3, they could be replaced and there could be something better there. The only bad thing to this is...
I think instead of a tower, I think everybody should get a big estate.
Yeah.
That might be a good idea.
What if I could combine my idea with another tower idea? What if I could make a Vegas Strip style, but on the side there's towers? Not as big, though. Because, you know... Yeah. Because I don't know what... they never come onto the server and they never build. Not... Either because they don't want to or they don't have enough time. So... Like, they'd feel bad if I tore it down, but I can't. There's nothing... There's nothing I'm benefiting from them. Even the people I built them for are not even benefiting at all. They're not. So, I will initiate Project Strip. Phase 1. Every party that has a tower will be notified of the brand new plan. Every tower... And once they all come to agree to what I'm doing, Phase 2 will initiate. Phase 2. Every tower I'm talking about will be demolished. Every tower. Even the TA tower. However, actually no, Phase 2 will actually offer some good. I'm not going to come back to it later. I might make this last. But maybe I'm gonna make it where, like, I'm gonna make a copy, and I'm gonna save it. That way, if my decision is regretted, I can bring the towers back in a emergency save. Phase 3, every tower, even mine, will be absolutely demolished, and everything will come down. Everything will be demolished.
Do you plan on using commands to demolish them?
Yes, but first TNT will come at first.
I don't think TNT would be a good idea because that seems a bit too volatile.
Yeah, nice words there. Everything will come down. Even my tower, even sadly my sister's tower, which she's never used it for. Everything needs to be... And in Phase 3, everything needs to be flattened out. I don't know about... I don't know if there'll be pools there because of the swamp land. I don't know. But anything... And Phase 4 will be... The strip will start being built, and then Phase 5 will finish everything. So, let's see. We have one... Well, there's one of my cousins that I never even barely talk to, which is... I'm not gonna leak her name. It's a her. She's not my girlfriend at all, bullcrap. She's never joined one of my Minecraft worlds at all. Actually, she has, but like years ago, and she doesn't play anymore. But Gunnar will be contacted, Bryce will, Alex will, everybody will be contacted. I might do it tonight. I might start contacting people tonight. But I think the project will be last. The project, like, I'll probably finish every project. My plan is to finish Riversburg and Riversdale and Port Abate by July 30th, 2021. Yeah, because I can't go back in time, frick. However, good news, Port Abate is almost finished. I think I'll add like a few more things about the town, and then it'll be finished. I think the project strip will be commenced probably in January 2022. Well, the reason here's something. The story goes, I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and in the game there's a thing called Maker's End, which is just the FAS building. Now, the FAS building has a giant emblem at the top that looks like the Abbott Agency star. So now you know where this is going. I wanted it to look like that. I think, in my opinion, that it would have looked better if I were to do it. The thing is, my building is just default and flat. There's no depth to my build. There's absolutely no depth. It's just a giant box, a giant rectangular prism stacked with poked windows in it. And there's nothing. They're just ugly. A copy of my world with the towers in it. Well, actually, I have an idea. Now, I have 3 plans. 1, it requires everything gets demolished, no buildings of them are rebuilt. Plan 2, so the buildings are actually destroyed but then re-implemented into the final build. Or 3, the final build has no implementation of the previous buildings, but the buildings are actually moved somewhere else. The buildings themselves take up like a 15 by 15 area. I think like a 25 by 25 area. And there are 1, 2, 3. There are about 7 of them. So I have over 1,000 square blocks being consumed.
Ground was broken. Construction then commenced on the enormous and audacious foundation. Because Chicago Spire was such a tall and slender tower, a deep and complex foundation would need to be dug. First with what is called a cofferdam, which essentially is a large enough walled-off opening, in this case underground, to allow the tower's concrete spine, which would contain elevators and staircases, to be constructed. By June, Shelbourne announced the Chicago Spire was already 30% sold, including the $40 million two-floor penthouse.
How happy are you that 30% of the building is already sold?
Very excited about that. This project's going ahead.
Were you a little afraid that if it wasn't going to sell, you're going to have to bring all this down?
No.
Never in doubt.
Never in doubt.
People working on the project hopes were high, but this was all about to abruptly come to an end.
This Friday.
Oh wait, never mind. That's it. I would say I don't care. Oh, never mind. I do care.
By mid-2008, the subprime mortgage crisis was sending America into a recession, and obviously a financial crisis is bad for a luxury condo tower. As the completion of this foundation neared, it was announced work would slow down at the site. However, this is when things started to go wrong. By October of 2008, the building's architect Santiago Calatrava stated that Shelbourne owed him over $11 million in unpaid fees. Another missed payment of around $4 million was also claimed by another...
Okay, so, in addition to Phase 1, each party that is alerted to this brand new proposition can have they'll have three choices. Or they'll have two choices. Either the building is completely demolished and is never rebuilt, or two, the building is moved. Or actually, no, they have three options. It's either completely gone, it's moved, or it's implemented maybe into final design, if it's chosen.
Wait, how would you move it, with commands?
No, is that I would obtain blueprints and I would make a brand new copy of it, and then once a copy would be maybe it's either I'll save the world and I'll copy it from, pure memory, I guess.
I'm killing some super mutants right now so I can get to this relay tower.
Architectural firm that they hired. The fees were stacking up, and to make matters worse, the primary lender for the operation, that being the crumbling Anglo-Irish Bank, was essentially on the brink of bankruptcy. With their lendings in peril, of course the bank had frozen all investments, now meaning the Chicago Spire was out of capital. Almost immediately thereafter, Shelbourne put the project on temporary hold until the necessary funds could be allocated for further construction. This was a bad sign, and people who bought condos already started to ask for their deposits back. Even more concerning was the fact that no construction company for the actual tower had been chosen yet, as the site stood still with no vertical progress. According to the Wall Street Journal, Shelbourne was in almost $70 million in debt for the Spire development. As their financial condition worsened, even smaller aspects of the project were falling through. The building to which Shelbourne had been leasing space for their preview center filed a lawsuit claiming the company was in over $300,000 late in rent payments. By summer of 2009, and with little recovery from the global financial crisis, Bank of America then also filed a lawsuit seeking restitution of almost $5 million in unpaid loans. By the end of that year, however, it seemed the luck of the Chicago Spire might actually begin to change, as Kelleher announced that he would be meeting with the AFL-CIO, standing for the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations. See, jobs, especially in the city and really all of America, were scarce, and with unemployment creeping to all-time highs, the Spire project could become a huge source of several year-long jobs. So, if construction moved to an all-union-based workforce, then Shelbourne could secure a $170 million union loan. Within just a few weeks, however, this deal fell through, and when the Chicago Business newspaper asked other local unions if they would consider investing, they all said no. It was now early 2010, and with the site sitting dormant, that suit over the unpaid rent at their preview center had finally been concluded, with Shelbourne being evicted from the building. By the end of that year, yet another lawsuit was filed, this time from their old friend, the Anglo-Irish Bank. Now it was time for their reckoning, in the form of a $77 million lawsuit aimed directly at Shelbourne Development Group. Shelbourne ultimately filed for bankruptcy soon after. As the project site sat abandoned over the next few years, in 2013 the property went up for sale through an Irish asset management company. The sale attracted several bidders, including Atlas Apartment Holdings, to which Shelbourne Development sought to partner with in a sort of way to emerge from their bankruptcy with a $135 million loan, as if they hadn't taken enough money already. In this 2014 agreement, they would act as the developers and Atlas would manage the tower. Yes, they were still intending for the spire to go forward. Shelbourne also agreed to a new payment plan with creditors, mainly a company called Related Midwest. However, of course, in true Shelbourne fashion, by October of that year, they failed to pay Related Midwest. With this payment delinquency, Related Midwest went for their land, filing a lawsuit to try and take ownership of the deed. And just a month later, the court ruled in Midwest's favor, and they took control of the property. Soon after, it was announced that they would not build the Chicago Spire. The project, just like its foundations, was officially abandoned. Related Midwest then got working on their own, more feasible vision of the site. However, the Garrett Kelleher saga of lawsuits didn't end here, as in 2018, he filed a lawsuit. Tables are turned. He filed a $1.2 billion lawsuit against the National Asset Management Company for, quote, sheer spite and consistent incompetence when dealing with him and the Chicago Spire project. We'll see where that lawsuit goes. Meanwhile, in the same year, Related Midwest revealed what their plans were for the former Spire site. Over the years, there have been other concepts for the land. However, this was the first with lots of planning behind it. They unveiled a 2-tower condo development, the tallest with a luxury hotel and mixed condos topping out at around 1,100 feet, with the smaller tower at 850 feet. The design is a lot less striking and certainly blends in more with the skyline, with interesting rounded glass panels shaping the towers. Emphasis was put on the actual design of the project, including elements harkening back from Chicago's architectural past. While this is a much more standard development and nothing that will necessarily grab headlines or break records around the world, it is beautiful and probably a more realistic project to see through. That being said, however, the concept was rejected by Chicago's vice mayor over concerns ranging from security to the height of the podium of the 2 towers. In mid-2020, they submitted a revised version of this $1 billion plan. Now, with mixed feedback, the developers have stated they would like to get started on construction in early 2021. However, just like the original Spire project, the company has to navigate through a nation coming off an economic
Rayce.
recession.
What?
So we'll see if they make
Can you
that
check
jump.
how long ago
At
you
this
started
point,
that
it has
party
been
with
a...
Max?
What?
Can you check how long ago you started that party with Max?
Why is that?
Just to prove that he's been playing longer than I have.
I have no idea. I have no idea how long ago I created that party. Let's see, you created this party about 2 hours ago.
I mean, when did you start the party with him?
I have no idea.
I mean, I know he's been playing all the yourself at like 2 p.m.
Wait, or till like 2 p.m. playing games.
No. Yeah.
No, you've been playing way longer than me. I've only been playing 2 hours max.
I haven't.
No.
How long were you playing?
It's a no, Max. I said it's a no.
What?
Shut up. Oh, no, actually, I've been on since 2:30, thank you. No, when I got on, I started a party with Rayce 2 hours ago. So, thank you very much. I've been playing for 2 hours.
You played all last night.
Same with you.
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't play all last
You know why.
night. Get off!
Oh my god.
You know Rayce's stream has to hear all this.
Get off!
Alright, I'm ready to go.
Get the fuck off! God, you little.
What just happened? I just realized that my build would have been ruined if it was in the other game because of the, what's it called? The banner limit. Yes. You're welcome. Surprisingly, it's not hot.
15 years since Christopher Carley had a dream for an ultra-tall skyscraper unlike any other in the world. One to keep Chicago reaching for the skies, and even for a short time, break world records. It would have drastically changed the skyline of the iconic city, and it is truly unbelievable how close it got. However, at the same time, I can't understand why many people would say, well, all they did was dig a hole. And yeah, to some extent that is true. I don't think the developers who eventually took control of the Spire set out to scam people, but the mess that it turned into doesn't look great. According to Kelleher, he stated that he personally invested $195 million into the project. That absolutely blows my mind, because at this point, the Spire is never getting built, and all of the time, money, and effort from hundreds of people, all confident they were building something so big and so real, well, it was all for nothing. So yeah, it is a bit annoying to think how that money could have been alternatively spent. However, in their defense, I think at least they had no idea that this would be the outcome. Afterwards, the remnants of the tower can only be seen from the enormous circular hole in the ground. After all these years, now filled with water and foliage surrounding the rim, the scaffolding just has a staircase leading down into deep water, and the hole now is a local joke in Chicago. Perhaps the foundation will be used in the new developments, but I think in some way this site will always be remembered for the infamous concepts of what would have been. One that had high hopes, but after a catastrophic series of events, sent this tower spiraling in the wrong direction. The built-in curved
The abandoned Memphis pyramid.
Just a few more pets. Well, you vaporized an outside contractor. That's your first strike.
Well. What's up, guys? My name is Jake, and welcome to Abandoned, episode 60. When I was driving down to New Orleans to shoot my feature documentary, I stopped for a night in Memphis, Tennessee. We had a nice time, but just down the road from our hotel was
Memphis.
Probably the most...
Bruh, if you got cancer, you go to Memphis. They'll cure anything. Home of St. Jude. Like, oh my god, you should see St. Jude Medical Center. It is one of the coolest places ever. The place was literally, the original, it's so big, what?
I'm doing Strange Bedfellows in Fallout 76. It's how I'm starting to side with the Raiders.
So as I was saying,
You know the Raiders are actually more difficult to side with.
That's Christ. Like the original building for St. Jude is demolished, and like St. Jude has grown, like the building has grown like at least like tripled in size, maybe even quintupled in size. It's amazing.
Same looking retail store I have ever seen. That being the Bass Pro Shops at the Pyramid. So of course I had to check it out before we left town. And the entire time I was there, I just couldn't understand how this thing got built. Because of course Bass Pro Shop didn't build it. So join me today as I figure out how this unbelievable
That is the coolest Bass Pro Shop I've ever seen.
And the ultimate
Imagine having a zombie apocalypse. Bass Pro Shop would be the best place to go. It's so cool. Plus, like, bruh, if there ever is an apocalypse, you go to Bass Pro Shop. They literally have like 1,000 rifles there. I'm not kidding you. You get the best selection of scopes and rifles. So if anybody wants a scope and they need it and they need an area to go to Bass Pro Shop. There's a lot of scopes to pick from. However, I do not know of the existence of thermal scopes or infrared scopes, but I bet you if you try hard enough, you can probably find one. I looked for thermal scopes and I could not find any. The one in Peoria, Illinois is amazing. I know it's dumb, but like when we were under a tornado warning, my cousin was literally worried about his like $5 Lego set. I'm like, dude, it's not going like I'm sorry, you're worried about a Lego set? I'm like, dude, if it gets destroyed, I'll literally buy you a $100 Lego set. It never got demolished.
Pyramid, otherwise known as the Memphis Pyramid. It all began in the mid-1950s when a local artist envisioned a trio of massive steel pyramids alongside the Mississippi River. This was merely an ambitious dream at that point, but it was so strange and so captivating that the idea would be resurrected over 30 years later with his son, John Brent Hartz. John saw an opportunity in the growing tourism industry in the home of blues. Memphis, Tennessee, at least to John, was the perfect place to bring his father's weird idea back to life.
I remember reading a book called The Road to Memphis. There's this really racist dude in it's like the 1960s. These black people were trying to get to Memphis to escape from the South. And there's this dude that always harasses them and is extremely racist. I hate that character in that book. But I think the book ends up a really good one. It's a nice little book. I like it. They persevered and they didn't stop at anything to get to Memphis. Memphis is such a nice city. As mentioned before, St. Jude.
I suggest for your first faction you side with, you do the Raiders because it's way easier. Plus, we can get different rewards.
Try to, but I can't.
So, by 1986, the project was officially announced. It was dubbed the Great American Pyramid, and its main function was to serve as a 20,000-seat basketball arena. But there was so much more to it. In early concepts of the project, this proposed 330-foot-high aluminum structure would be painted gold and, according to the concept art, would be located just south of the downtown core. Even at this early stage, over $150,000 had been invested for a feasibility study as the project entered the approval stages of city planning. Many were enthusiastic, though, as the project was thought to have been a great location for sporting events, and with its proposed rooftop Hall of Fame museum, it could attract hundreds of thousands of tourists. Total costs were estimated at around $60 million, the vast majority of that being taxpayer money, around $50 million worth of city funds. Another $10 million of private investment was also secured. In 1989, the Daily News Journal published an article quoting Sidney Schlenker, the lead construction manager. He said, quote, "I think it is the next great building that's been built since the Houston Astrodome. What is being built here is a monument. It's like the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower. Disney and MGM just built a park themed to movies and television. This one will be themed to music and will be a similar operation." So, obviously, optimism was pretty high among the people dealing with the project.
5,000 years ago, the world trembled before the might of Cheops' pyramid. Soon there will be another occasion for awe. Soon mankind will be dazzled by a new wonder of the world. From the banks of the Mississippi, across the oceans and continents, and up to the heavens, a vibrant message will ring out. Feel the power of the great American pyramid.
And with that, everything was ready to go, and construction began in September of 1989. After a very theatrical groundbreaking ceremony, construction continued into the new decade and was completed in November of 1991. The owners saw this as a pretty strong start, despite the accidental flooding in the basement. The stadium portion seemed to have been working just fine. But then again, that's all that was built. By opening day, there was over 150,000 square feet of undeveloped space within the Memphis Pyramid. This was for the promised music museum, Hard Rock Cafe, and observation deck. And those were just within the structure itself, as a music theme park of sorts was planned for the adjacent Mud Island. Sidney Schlenker claimed another $50 million in what was apparently private capital would have to go into the construction project to finish these important projects. However, in June, before the grand opening, he was fired and his management company filed for bankruptcy as they were in $16 million worth of debt. Despite this, the owners began looking for tenants to fill the vacant space as progress was made getting the stadium filled regularly. Over the next decade, the venue was fairly successful, hosting 12 seasons of basketball, the first and second rounds of the NCAA, and was home to the University of Memphis's Tigers. It was the area's main stadium and saw notable players like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. But also a number of concerts were held at the Pyramid, with performances from huge artists like Billy Joel, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Pearl Jam, Bob Dylan, and many, many more. The Memphis Pyramid also played host to the iconic fight between Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson, an event that brought famous people from all over the world to Memphis and the very unique venue it took place in, arguably making that event the most iconic in Memphis's history. Despite all of this notoriety, though, there were looming issues with the stadium. While many praised the unique architecture that came along with the venue, that unorthodox design for a
No, like, what's it called?
If you vape nicotine, you could be inhaling toxic metals like nickel, chromium, and lead that can damage your lungs.
for a stadium.
You know, in my opinion, building in a pyramid fashion is probably one, like, I'm not an architect. I'm an architect enthusiast. I'm not like a master level 3,749 architect. But I can tell you right now that building in a pyramid is an extremely good way to build because, well, towers are good and all, but they can topple. Pyramids can't topple at all. You can't. In fact, try to push on a toy pyramid, your finger's gonna go up, okay? You can't topple a pyramid. Unless you literally lift it from the ground and topple it over, almost like that, which would never ever happen. Which is why pyramids are. That's why the Egyptian pyramids are still here. They're built extremely good.
Stage and seats below, the acoustics were an extra annoyance for crews. For players in the NBA, the intimidating scale of the wide open space above gave the pyramid the nickname the Tomb of Doom. Additionally, locals in the area were rather underwhelmed with the end product. Remember the Great American Pyramid that was being touted as the next wonder of the world? A Disney-level attraction that would become the new iconic symbol for the Midwest? Well, general enthusiasm on the master project quickly fell apart as people began realizing that the taxpayer money helped fund the construction of a massive steel pyramid in the middle of Memphis, Tennessee. The tourism aspect of the pyramid never got off the ground and essentially sat vacant and abandoned through this whole time. By the early 2000s, the city of Memphis was looking to lure a professional NBA team back to their city, and more specifically into the pyramid as their home stadium. The Grizzlies were the main focus, and the city secured a 3-year contract with them, while another $250 million arena was being built a mile south of the pyramid. Around $7 million was spent on updating the decade-old event space, getting it ready for a major NBA team to play in. The excitement for this, however, soon plummeted, as once the team started playing there, the facility began losing money. By 2002, it was reported that the Memphis Pyramid lost around $200,000, mainly because in the agreement with the city, the Grizzlies kept all the ticket sales. So just on rent alone from the team, it wasn't enough to outweigh the losses, especially after a notable decrease of events were held within the building. By September, the new stadium opened as the FedEx Forum, and the Grizzlies moved to it as planned. This now meant the Memphis Pyramid was without any regular tenants and had been losing money at an alarming rate. By now, the city had been debating on whether or not they should just close it down entirely. City council members argued the facility would cost them over $1.6 million if it were to stay open. Others suggested a committee should look into alternative uses for the space, and ultimately the vote came down to a tie. This topic was very contentious, but ultimately the city voted to keep it open. However, with a larger, modern stadium literally a few blocks down, a non-compete clause meant that the amount of events held at the pyramid would be limited. By the mid-2000s, the Memphis Pyramid was just used a few times out of the year, eventually hosting its final event on February 3rd, 2007 with Bob Seger. This was the official send-off. Immediately after, the building was shuttered and abandoned indefinitely. The interior was maintained as best as it could be, as the city began seeking out other development opportunities, one of which was from a rather odd potential buyer. That being Bass Pro Shops, an outdoor retail chain that is best known for their ultra-themed superstores. They officially unveiled
Bass Pro Shops, like their stores are amazing. They're so cool.
Mixed with other
it's like being in an indoor town.
They stated that over $75 million would be invested to make their crazy idea a reality. But talks were still ongoing with the city on the specifics of the deal. Progress was slow, and during this, the Memphis Pyramid continued to sit disused and abandoned. The exterior of the weathered structure appeared unmaintained, with crumbling concrete and foliage breaking through the cement entranceways. Clearly the building was in a limbo state, yet still a pretty eye-catching landmark to anyone who isn't used to a massive, abandoned steel pyramid in the middle of their city. As if this whole saga wasn't strange enough, I guess the immense oddity of the whole vacant building started stirring up conspiracies. Mainly, and I swear I'm not making this up, with Alex Jones claiming the building was cursed with bad luck from the developers who were in a cult and put a crystal skull on the top of the pyramid.
Oh my
Apparently
god.
it represents the New World Order and the Illuminati.
Do you know who he is, right? Who that dude that says Alex Jones, the dude that said he was he put the skull in the pyramid or something? He's the dude that he's the same dude behind the chemicals in the water turning frogs gay thing.
What?
The same dude, I know him.
Who thinks chemicals in water is gonna make a frog go, ooh, that pale frog is kinda sexy.
No, I was making a joke. I'm like, yeah, I'm a frog because I just got.
Ooh, that hot
Just
frog
imagine
guy looks good.
this one, my bro frog. Ooh, because of these chemicals in the water, I seem a sexual attraction towards my own gender. Plutonium 240. Anthrax. Oh yes, chemicals. Melted plastic.
Christ.
Alex Jones.
Gene in the form of the Memphis Pyramid. Now, obviously, everything he claimed here is untrue, apart from the skull. Yes, so apparently in 1991, just after it opened, a crystal skull was found welded at the very top, allegedly put there by Hard Rock Cafe's CEO for good luck, I guess? Yeah, it's a bit weird and sort of makes you think if all Hard Rock Cafes around the world have skulls welded behind their walls. Well, regardless, that weird fact ended up attracting a lot of other weird stuff with other wacky people thinking the building is some sort of satanic devil's palace. They're literally talking nonsense, but yeah, it probably has something to do with religion. Anyways, on June 30th, 2010, Bass Pro Shops announced they had reached a deal with the city with another $30 million worth of taxpayer money invested into the new project. Over the course of the next 2 years, the pyramid was gutted, creating a concrete shell of the former 20,000-seat stadium. The crumbling exterior walkways and entranceways were also torn down during this time. Construction then began on the elaborately themed Bass Pro Shop interior, turning the inside of the former stadium into a wilderness adventure store. On April 29th, 2015, the Bass Pro Shops at the Pyramid officially opened to the public. The final product that the brand ended up building was pretty insane considering what it was housed in. The once hardwood floors of the basketball court had now been turned into an artificial swampland, fitted with fake cypress trees and a sprawling water feature with the dock and boats. Among the actual fishing you can do, a restaurant contained in its own building and even a bowling alley, there is everything else you might expect to find in a Bass Pro Shop. But
dude, Bass Pro Shops are literally the best.
Archery, shoot some guns, and walk through a museum about duck hunt.
You can shoot. It's got a shooting range in it, dude. Look, they literally know what to do with all their stores. They're like, oh my god, okay. Walmart is one thing to go shopping in. A freaking store that literally you can literally go fishing, shooting bows, guns. You can literally. Oh my god, this place is awesome. Well, to a Midwesterner at least, because, I'm really used to this.
The weirdness doesn't stop there, however, as surrounding the entire shopping floor is a hotel. Yes, that's right. For around $200 a night, you can stay in the 103-room Big Cypress Lodge, which has most of the rooms looking down onto the shops below. From the top looking down, the shape of the former grandstands is still apparent as the concrete frames from those remain in place and were repurposed for the hotel. Speaking of the top, the apex of the pyramid had finally been developed into a restaurant and bar surrounded by an observation deck.
That is awesome.
Bass Pro Shops actually extended the glass from the top and added 2 overhanging glass-bottom balconies, to which offer great views of Memphis and the Mississippi River. To get up there, you take the longest freestanding elevator in the world, traveling up 28 floors directly up the middle of the structure. After just 4 months, over 1 million people had visited the shopping and entertainment complex. But that's what's key here, the entertainment and tourism draw the property has. Remember, when it was all first conceived, all of this was part of the plan. A must-go-to destination filled with unique experiences contained in an unorthodox structure. The stadium aspect was never meant to be the only draw. However, of course, that's what ended up happening, and on its own, the Memphis Pyramid never worked. The abandoned entertainment spaces remained untapped, and the pyramid never became the iconic tourist attraction that so many thought it would have become. At the end, and adjusted for inflation, over $130 million of city funds had been invested into the project, all for something that never really worked all that well. Nor did it achieve the whole point of building this weird structure. Not only that, but it was also taxpayer money that helped fund another brand new stadium just on the other side of the city, essentially sabotaging the Temple of Doom. Eventually, however, regardless of how strange it might be, the Bass Pro Shop inside the pyramid actually fulfilled what it was supposed to do with building out those unfinished areas and actually making visitors to the city curious on what on earth that enormous triangle is. I know it did for me, and as someone who really enjoys good theming and unique structures, I really liked it. And I think it has a long and prosperous future ahead of it. But the bizarre history of this strange pyramid will always be intriguing to me, and how it ultimately led to an outdoors retailer taking up perhaps the least American outdoorsy icon you can possibly imagine. With every topic...
Build something like that in my country as well. That'd be cool. I'm gonna go get a drink. Be right back.
Rayce, the crater and foundation, you don't have to pay caps to fast travel to?
Get off. Hey, get off.
Alright, back stream.
Oh, you probably didn't hear me. Yeah, I said, it's nice because the crater and foundation, the places that you most likely will be teleporting to a lot, do not require caps to go to.
Huh. That's nice. I've almost got one of the outside parts done. I just need to do the other part, and then the city's buildings are done, and I'll start building the little port on the front, and that will probably finish the entire town.
Get off now.
Did you maybe get on 76? I'm just a bit lonely.
I can't.
West Virginia. So I'm just doing some Wastelanders right now. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. Donut.
I'm Dylan Hart Jr., and I'm on a journey. Join me once again as we
Many of you have been sleeping soundly, ignorant to the fact that history is unfolding right in front of our fucking eyes right now. In front of us, we are graced with the most beautiful gaming disaster we've ever seen. Somewhere out there right now, Cliff Bleszinski has the hardest boner he's had since 2006, because the absolute failure, the unmatchable catastrophe of the Culling 2's launch makes Lawbreakers look like a triumphant success. the fucking Citizen's Kane of gaming in comparison to the Culling 2. In just a short 19 hours after it's launched, it is down to 1 active player, with an average of 21.5, which is not even enough to start a single round because you need 30. So at no point can you ever even play this abominable fucksucker of a game, because there's just not enough people playing it. For those who don't know, the Culling 1 is probably the first Battle Royale game that was ever invented, and it was an alright game. I enjoyed it, it was fine. But they killed the game, they kept making changes nobody wanted, so it drove the players away. In response to that, they abandoned it, and instead what they did is they released this photo on Twitter to hype up the Culling 2. Then they released the trailer on Monday. On Tuesday they released the game, and now today, on Thursday, as of making this video, the game is absolutely 100% dead. Now, it's not a free game, it's actually got a pretty hefty price tag, especially since what you're essentially buying is a pile of dog shit. But I paid for this because I wanted to be part of this history. I wasn't born in time to become an astronaut and go on the Apollo 11 mission to be one of the first men to walk on the moon, but this is...
What's he talking about? What game?
The Culling 2.
What is that?
Let's just say, you wanna know how many players it had on peak hours? 94.
Oh, Christ.
The game died in only, what? The game died in 19 hours.
How?
I don't know, it was just so, well, let's find out. I'm trying to find that out.
Close second place. I can be part of this history. Let's check out the customizations here. I bet it's really fucking thorough to the point where I can customize the number of pubic hair on her vagina.
God, why?
Looks like they're eating her face. Let's see what other goodies Santa Claus has brought us here. Look at all these hair options. This looks... Oh, I don't have enough V-Bucks for that one. Let's hit it and shit it. It's game time. Or rather, lack of game time. Try a solo match. See if I can at least find the other man wandering this barren wasteland. And then I'm now part of history. Steam's loneliest multiplayer game. The fastest dead game. It warms my heart to see an obvious cash grab like this fail so spectacularly. Such an uninspired game. Oh, look at this. In the game design room at this studio's headquarters, they cooked up this beautiful football stadium, imagining hundreds of players flooding in. And now look at it. It's so empty. Just what it deserves. Earn your medals. More like earn your players with a better game, you fucking nerds. This is amazing. This is absolutely fantastic. Even the other active player right now is either sitting in the menu or sitting in
He's just used this if he watched, browsed Reddit and watched memes.
Was lobby or squad lobby, I don't know, but I'm gonna find out. It is now my mission for the next maybe 15 minutes to try and find the other guy. This is just a surreal experience right now. I feel like one of those explorers that go into dilapidated insane asylums and amusement parks and film it. This shit is amazing. If I didn't tell you this game just came out, you wouldn't have believed me. This shit was dead on arrival, a literal stillborn game. I've never seen something like this happen.
Terraria, bruh, like, Terraria and Astroneer literally sold like 10,000 copies on the first day. That's better than this.
Be able to experience it like this firsthand. Look at this. It's like they put this vantage point here so you could overlook the emptiness. This is where Squidward should have gone when he wanted to be all alone. I'm trying to see if I can match up with the other brave warrior scouting these fields. I bet the other guy's one of the developers just sitting in the lobby in the fucking nightmare he's created with his face in his hands, thinking, this abhorrent creation. It's my doing. I'm the Frankenstein to this monster. Now I am become shit developer. This is the fate we chose. This is so fucking crazy. Honestly, I couldn't have imagined this game flopping as hard as it did. I didn't think anything could ever beat Lawbreaker's dead game speedrun until the Culling 2. This game has an uncontested and probably unbeatable world record for the fastest dead multiplayer video game. Now, you can cheat and like point out some indie games that were released and no one had heard of them before, but this game follows the first big Battle Royale game. It's the sequel to one of the first Battle Royale games, and look what happened to it. Holy shit, it's amazing. This is the perfect example, the epitome of lazy cash grabs, and it gets the fate it deserves. You can't be happier about it. Radical Heights had more passion behind it than this game. I am so elated at the fact that this game is as dead as it is. This is going to serve as an example to all game developers out there who hop on the latest trend as quickly as they can to cash in on it as quickly as they can. That it doesn't always work, and
So
sometimes
what
you
is
end
that
up
game
with the Culling
about?
2. And
It's a
that's
battle
something
royale
that
that looks really crappy.
Of course.
It failed only 19 hours after release. That is worse than Fallout 76. You know, hey, at least it's Fallout 76. We have people... They literally just added a busted-ass system to make the game way more fun. These guys did nothing. They just gave up on their game.
Hello.
Who might be there? Allie.
think anyone out there wants. I'm not gonna find the other guy. He's probably just sitting in the main menu regretting his $20 purchase, or probably as we speak he's going for a Steam refund. I don't blame him. I'm actually probably going to do the same. I can't even play the game. I genuinely can't even get into the game. What an amazing disaster. Thank you, Culling 2 developers. I don't even know the name of your studio, but I know the name of your product now. And that's gotta count for something.
Special occasion, get gorgeous, glossy.
This is the worst franchise in the video game franchise by him.
So far, 2020 hasn't exactly been a great year for giving things. Mainly things have been taken away instead of given to us. I mean, I'm pretty fucking sure even jolly old St. Nicholas himself, Santa Claus, got laid off because of coronavirus. But it's not to say that there isn't someone still picking up that torch. Amongst the ruins stands a hero, Xavient Games. Xavient Games is unfortunately not a household name, though I think they should be. Xavient Games are the masterminds behind the Culling franchise. The Culling, the first game, was perhaps one of the first Battle Royale games that really helped kickstart the Battle Royale craze, so you can really thank them for that fucking hemorrhoid that's plagued the gaming industry for the last couple of years. And the Culling has had a troubled history ever since its first successful game. And make no mistake, it was a successful and pretty decent game in my opinion, but something happened. That success must have went to their head and took a shit. It's like they elected Patrick Starr to lead them from that point forward. It's like aliens infiltrated the studio and are only pretending to understand how humans work. Their decisions they've made have been laughably fucking dumb. They're like the world's worst court jester because they lack self-awareness, but you still can't help but laugh at them. It's fucking crazy. So before I talk about their massive, huge new announcement today, I'd like to start with the beginning, where things really went wrong. They made a lot of weird decisions with updating the Culling. Eventually the player base started to fizzle out, and then in 2018, they released the infamous Culling 2, the worst video game launch of all time and perhaps the most disastrous launch of anything ever in the history of humanity. And I mean that in all sincerity. A fucking dude trying to sell rats during the Black Plague probably saw more success on launch than the Culling 2 did. I made a whole video talking about this when it came out because it truly was a historic moment that I got to partake in, because what happened is the Culling 2 developers, Xavient, decided to release a surprise trailer for the Culling 2 out of nowhere with no mention of a sequel ever, and they completely changed the game. The Culling was focused on Melee. The Culling 2 was basically PUBG clone if they tried to port it to the Game Boy. It was less functional than Big Rig's over-the-road racing and was less successful than Lawbreakers. This fucking game is this unholy amalgamation of filth and diarrhea with a little bit of coding thrown in. But not only was it a game no one was asking for and a product nobody wanted ever, no one had even once had like a singular thought of, wow, wouldn't it be cool if the Culling was kind of like PUBG but with less features? But it also just didn't work. That's why I say it's less functional than Big Rig's over-the-road racing. The game wouldn't start because when the game launched, its all-time peak was 249 players, ever. And within 19 hours, it was down to 1 player, me, when I made the video on it. I was literally the only player in the game at one point. I was the last fucking stand, the last holdout of the Calling 2. I was legend. I was Will Smith in that bitch, in that post-apocalyptic fucking toilet bowl. It was a truly serene experience, but again, within 19 hours the game had literally 1 player, and it was me just making the video talking about the fucking catastrophe they unleashed. So the game was dead on launch. You needed 30 players to start a match, but you could never get 30 players because there wasn't 30 players that owned the game for more than an hour. So I did a little bit of research, and I think across the entire lifespan of the game on PC, only 8 matches ever started. There was only enough players for 8 matches to have ever gone on in the entire lifespan of the game. It was an unbelievable and unmatchable disaster of a video game that they eventually pulled the plug on nobly and refunded everyone, which they absolutely needed to do. In response to the complete and utter failure of the Culling 2, they decided to dance on the Culling's corpse by re-releasing the first Culling and calling it Culling Origins. They released that later that year in September, I believe, and it still didn't work. Even with their free-to-play model they implemented into it, it still couldn't find a stable player base and was shut down in early 2019. So within 1 year, they had shut down 2 games completely. And now, that brings us to today. Now we enter Act 3 of this incredible fucking play that they've created at Xavient. Today, out of nowhere yet again, they've announced that the Culling is coming back. The original Culling is coming back, but with a catch. It's only going to be on Xbox, and you have to pay $5.99 for it, and you only get to play 1 match a day for free.
What?
And for free is wrong because you still paid for the game, so you're not exactly getting anything for free. But you get 1 match a day for free, and if you want to play more than 1 match a day, you have to buy token packs to play more than 1 match a day. It comes with a lot of different options here, and the monetization model is perhaps the most bold approach to anything I've ever seen in my life.
Are you shitting me?
It's somehow even worse than a lot of these fucking mobile game models. It's even more predatory, greedy, and out of touch. It's so fucking silly. This makes AOL look like the forefront of innovation and listening to people. It is so out of touch, I can't even wrap my head around.
Okay, what if imagine if you got on, like, what's it called, Fallout or Minecraft, and you pay like $60 for Minecraft, and you could only pay like 10 minutes a day, and then to play more time, you'd have to purchase like, oh, let's say like, I don't know, $10. I'm not exactly from like Culling. Let's just say like, I don't know, like $10, and that every, you know, $10 would last you like 3 hours. That is bogus.
What did I just hear?
Imagine if you played Apex and you paid. Imagine if you played Apex, Fortnite, Call of Duty, or PUBG. Imagine you play one of those games. You pay $6 for the game. You can only play 1 game a day. Yeah, I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it when I want to go play a game and it says no. It goes like this to you, and I'm not gonna unreveal my thing. You know I'm flipping the finger. It's like, that's like, what's it called? It's like going up to a soda fountain, and you press the thing, and it's full, and it doesn't dispense, because it's like, no, I'm not doing my purpose. Okay, people buy games because they want to experience them, not pay for them. I'm fine with paying for games. Everyone knows that. I'm not fine for paying for games that make me pay even more. Okay? Here's my rule. If you are over like $50 of a game, you do not deserve transactions, okay? Well, actually, you do. But don't make them ridiculous. My rule is don't make your transactions more than the cost of the actual game. That is bogus.
It's like an arcade game, but instead of just putting, quarters in for the arcade game tokens, you have to buy the arcade cabinet itself and then put in the tokens. It's fucking nuts. So here's a breakdown from the developer diary, kind of outlining exactly what they're pitching here, and it is so fucking genius. It is the best idea I've ever seen. If you were ever looking for something to put money into and get nothing in return, but you didn't feel like just throwing it in the trash, this is the exact receptacle you can use. So, if I may, let's just break down the anatomy here of this announcement. Let's go ahead and talk about the thought process. So, the main problem with the culling and the culling 2 was no player base. I mean, the culling 2 literally just couldn't even fucking start because there weren't enough players playing it. And when they went free to play, they still didn't have enough players playing the game to keep it going.
Yeah.
So, how did they solve this problem? Well, they put up a paywall. That should work. They couldn't give the fucking game away for free and have people playing it. So what the fuck do they think is going to happen by making you pay for it and pay for it and pay for it and pay for it and pay?
Unlimited online access. Wait.
You watching that on the new iPad?
Okay, so token pack. So 3-pack is $1, and 20-pack is $5. Three is 1, 2 is 3. Or 10 is 3 and 20 is $5. You could say $10 is not a lot. $10 is not a lot of price for an adult.
$10 every week. That's it.
However, $10 for gaming. That's when you start getting into a territory that.
Yeah, $10 is a lot. But yeah, game wise, like spending something in your game, that's starting to get heavy.
Unlimited. So you pay. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Their monthly subscription is low, $30, $6 a day. Which, yeah. But here's the thing. Imagine you played Fortnite, but you paid $6 a month. You see, as much as I hate Fortnite, I kind of praise them for their marketing. 10 out of 10. Their marketing is good. It was free. However, you could buy stuff. It is the best way of monetization. Here, guys, man, guys.
And then everybody followed in their footsteps.
Well, guys, I'm sorry. I have to stop streaming. I paid for Minecraft. My 10 minutes of Minecraft per day is over. I have to stop streaming, guys. I'm just kidding. Like, imagine that if I had to quit my stream because I ran out of time. That is like, hold on. That's like buying a car for like $30,000, and then every mile costs you $1,000 to drive. It's ridiculous. Like, or like, what's it called? That is literally, like, what do you want to say? That's basically like getting a car for $30,000 without, like, loan or interest, or without renting it, and then you get charged $1,000 like a month. Like, I already paid for the car. Why do I keep getting charged for it? That's ridiculous. It's like you buying an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One, and you get charged $10 a month. Like, and even if you're offline, you get charged $10 a month because of, what's it called? You're just using the Xbox. It's stupid. You got the Xbox. You deserve it.
For it. You are actually paying to not play. You're paying to not play, to pay to not play, to pay to not play again. Because there's not going to be enough people that are going to start these matches. Unless they're fine starting with 2 people, I don't think you're going to find a match. It's a bold statement, but I'm going off historical evidence to point to this. So what could very well happen is you'd pay the $1, $5, whatever, to play an extra match, and it might not start because no one else would have paid for it. So you just paid money to stand in the waiting room in purgatory, in this fucking video game limbo. But not only that, there is no shame from this company re-releasing the same game for the 3rd time now. This is like that band who has one song that they keep riding the high of and just using that to just ride on the fucking coattails and constantly re-releasing that shit. They just keep bringing this motherfucker back to make it worse.
It's like having a good song and just keep reposting remixes so you can get money. It's like remix number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17.
All the goodwill the company had is completely gone and has been gone since fucking the first Culling's initial launch. To anyone out there that says EA is the worst video game company out there, I have to spit on you. Because you're very fucking wrong. It's Xaviant Games, but they're comically bad. EA I can definitely get behind with some of that, like, evil, greedy, anti-consumer shit, but Xaviant, they're like that supervillain in the old comic books that they're just kind of there to laugh at. They're not exactly like a bad supervillain. They're just very misguided and, shitty. It's like harmlessly evil. I mean, I feel so bad for the culling because, like I said, the first culling was a good game, but that must have just been the biggest fluke ever. Because everything since then has been a disaster for the culling and Xavians. They just absolutely cannot even accidentally make a decision that makes sense. It's fucking crazy. I also do believe that Xaviant Game serves as the poster child, the epitome of ineptitude. The exact thing to strive not to be. You should look at it as Xaviant Games and then say, well, we've done a lot of fucked up shit, but at least we're not Xaviant Games. We haven't gone that far. They give you a lesson in the worst practices to implement into your pretty successful franchise. They show you how to speedrun killing a very popular game. It's wild to me. But hey, if you're excited, May 14th, Xbox launch for the culling, only $5.99, one match a day, plenty of tokens to go around. So
yeah, I've always wanted to play Apex Legends, but like, you know,
I could be wrong. Maybe
I've always wanted. This is better than Apex, guys. Guys, Apex and Fortnite are dead. I know this is like a few months ago, but dude, Fortnite, guys, it's dying because I've always wanted to pay money. I've always wanted to pay money for a game that I already paid for. I already paid $60 for. I already paid like $20 for Minecraft. I cannot wait to keep paying $10 per world made. Let's go. I love paying my precious earned money. Yeah. Frick you, culling. Frick you. Whatever. What's it called? I don't know whatever, I forgot what the developers were, but screw off, developers.
Hey,
You
Rayce,
suck.
our game studio is failing. The game we publish is failing. Hey, what do we do to get players to want to play it? Hey, let's just make it so they have to pay pretty much.
Yeah. It's angry review.
You dumb,
Alright, hold on, I gotta take a shit.
stupid, idiotic mother. I can't believe this. Gotta be a joke.
That's what I'm thinking with the whole quarantine.
Gotta be a joke.
Maybe it's the holiday. They forgot like April 1st. Is
Gotta
that
be
celebrate
a
now?
joke.
Oh, they delayed that one too.
I brought other
April
Joe
Fools.
and Alex into this angry rant because this is so unbelievably freaking stupid.
There's no way.
That it's not. It can't be true.
He does look
Can't
high
be
though.
true.
Maybe he's just high and he didn't
So
think things
we
through.
have just caught wind that the culling, which is granted one of the first battle royale games ever come out. Way back in 2016 is when the alpha was. 2017 when the first culling came out. It was novel. People enjoyed it. Obviously, this is a genre that everybody's playing now. But due to dumb ass decisions, like the worst decisions, over time players moved away and better battle royales popped up and people moved to PUBG, people moved to the other games, and so they lost their player base. Then out of nowhere they announced
You wanted, it's back.
Culling 2. And the Culling 2 basically had zero player base. Nobody was playing that game. Jim Sterling was like one of the only people. Critical was one of the only people. Just people basically.
Critical, that's of course Penguin Z0.
Making videos about how ridiculously empty the game is and how much it sucks. Then they ended up brought back the Culling as a free-to-play game because the original Culling was $5.99. Then the Culling, second Culling was like they went free to play with fucking cosmetics.
Penguins
And
is
that died
the
too. Okay, so this is the third attempt to resurrect this freaking game, and it's I guess the Culling Origins, and it's announced with much fanfare. It's back. Here is my video announced. We are happy to announce it's back. Let's check out what the video is.
Jesus Christ.
Admittedly, I had to give my own fucking downvote because this is the most insulting payment plan ever. This is.
I'd rather pay for Fallout first than the Culling Origins.
One mode.
I would rather spend my entire rest of my life paying for Fallout first than paying for Culling 2. I'm not saying as a joke. I'm literally being serious. I would rather pay for Fallout first than Culling. Because at least with Fallout first, you're getting a nice open world. I mean, yes, it's a recycled server. But still, it's better than literally... Like... You could say, oh, it's like, oh my god, you only have to pay like $7 a month, which is low. Well, here's the thing. If you think that's low, how much money does it cost to play Apex per month if you're not buying loot boxes? Wait, hold on. Can you hear that? What was it? Oh yeah, right, it's free. It's freaking free. Nothing beats free. Well, one thing does, and it's called giving back. And coin doesn't do that. Like, literally, okay, Apex. Apex is fun, okay? I don't pay for it. I have spent money on the game, but yeah, not like this.
Made so many bad decisions, and you're gonna charge people a monthly fee to play it. You're gonna allow one match for free, and then if you want to play another, you gotta pay tokens. You gotta pay per fucking match, unless you win.
Here's how they screw you over. Is that
here's the thing.
Yeah.
What if you just get camped on, or you just die off spawn? That's your fucking...
Actually, dude, I really did not take that into consideration. Like, dude, what if somebody literally... Okay, let's say you're just new to the game, okay? And I play every single day, I hit every single shot, I shoot you out of the air. That's waste your money. And I have, like, well, I don't know, I have $1 million, I can spend all the money I want in the world. It's unfair. It's unfair for people that have assloads of money. Like, if I'm just, hitting every shot, and I can camp off spawn, that's just a waste of your money. That's not fair to the player base.
Hey, Rayce, do you have any 50 cows?
No.
Whoa!
Joe, that can't be right. Come on.
It's like putting money into the arcade after you'd already bought the arcade. I think Critical made that point as well, Alex, because you buy the game, but then you have to continue paying the game to earn the right to play it. And this fucking moron, and I don't want to personally attack people, but this is the word. Josh, if this was your idea, you was a dumbass. Okay, this was not very well thought through. You're only looking at it from one point of view. Must not have gotten help from anybody, because at this point you're turning your company into a complete joke. Xavier, you will feel everything. Yes, Josh, you are about to feel everything. That's his company's that's his company's. Okay, anyways, so here's the thing. PC Gamers broke it down for us. Players can play one match online each day. They can play additional matches through the following means. You win a game, or you buy packs of online match tokens, 3 tokens $1, 10 tokens $3, 20 tokens $5, or you could do an online...
I wouldn't be surprised if they implement bots just so people can't win and get a free game.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, you're actually making a really good point. Literally, if I really wanted to, if I were the developers, you could literally spike the game with bots. The thing is, here's how I theorize how Fortnite works. So every bot has an RNG system. The strength of the aimbot that they use is randomized. What's it called? Like, everything is randomized. The intelligence of the bot is randomized. The aim of the bot is randomized. Everything on a Fortnite bot is randomized. You could face a literal garbage bot, or you could face a bot with aimbot on it. It's random. And here's the thing. That's 33 cents a match. It doesn't sound a lot, but trust me.
Once you start playing, or if you're like, oh, this is a good game, we're talking
Battle Royale matches
$1 a day.
Like, literally, I think, let's say if Apex had the same thing. How much...
Hey, Rayce, by the way, I have something that you might want in Fallout 76.
What?
Nuka-Cola Scorched.
Huh. Interested already. Here's the thing. Hey, what was I talking about? If Apex... Let's base this off Apex or Fortnite. In a day, I could probably go through about 50 50 matches of Fortnite a day at like normal, like just you know, chillaxing. I could literally burn through like 50 matches a day on Fortnite and probably 50 to 70 matches a day on Apex. If you know me, I play a lot of Apex when I'm with my friends. I do, and sometimes in Apex, you're not going to last long. You're going to get killed off the spot, and sometimes you're going to last more than the expected lifespan of a minute or so. You know, it's pick or choose. The only way, thank God, like, hey, I'm not going to give them full light, but, like, at least they made it where you could literally win a match. Like, what's it called? Like, win a match and get a free new match on the next time. If they wouldn't have done that, that's called, you know, what's it called? Stealing their money. Let's say if I played 50 matches a day, okay? I'm running 50 matches a day of Apex. If they had the same plan, I'd cost, let's see, 50 times 30, 50 times 0.33, which, you know, what's 33 times 100, which, no, 33 times 100, which is 330, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Cut that in half. We have 150 plus 15, and that's 165, and
God damn.
whatever, I'll just get the calculator. Let's see, 50. Let's say if you're running 50. Yeah, 50 matches of Apex a day, you're going to be spending $16.50 a day if you're on Apex. Which, look at this. Like $15 a day if you're going 50 matches on Apex. You know, let's keep going. Times 365, and if you were to play 50 matches a day, you know, if you were to play 50 matches every single day, constantly, for a straight year, this would cost you $6,022.50, which, if you spend that much on firearms, you can get roughly about 10 to 12 MMP 1522s. More than enough to arm your family. Let's do it in ammo. You could buy 30,000 rounds of 22 caliber ammo. That's a lot of ammo, if you're a sportsman. Let's see, 6,000. You know, to put this in perspective, my house's annual electric fee is $5,000 a year, and here you are spending $2,000 on a calling game. That's more than my damn electric bill. And do you know how big my house is? I'm not gonna flex to anyone how big my house is, but I have a 20-acre property. My property is literally $350,000, and that game is, if you play 50 matches a day without the unlimited plan, you're spending more than my electric bill. That is embarrassing. Like $1,000 more than my electric bill.
What a deal! Unlimited play in a previous free-to-fucking-play game. Are you fucking kidding me? You can either buy it for a week, or you can buy it for 30 days, and then keep going. Yes!
Is PUBG free?
Yes!
How much is
Fortnite is free!
Oh, Fortnite's free too?
All these better fucking Battle Royale games, and this guy does not fucking realize it. He thinks this game is the best fucking game ever. That it's basically an MMO. You're going to pay MMO prices in order to play the calling unlimited. And here's the biggest thing, is the major problem with the previous games were the lack of player base. You're not going to have players in this fucking game when you're charging $6 up front.
I'm not going to play that. Fuck that. I ain't paying it.
No, exactly. You have to pay $6 up front first. I mean, look at this. Look at this.
He himself.
They're just harassing me.
He calls
Look
it.
at this
This is our
low
money.
rent bullshit here. Like, this is how you announce your pricing? This fucking poor guy. Yeah, he reveals it at some point. He says,
The more you spend on servers and back-end services. When the calling was free to play on Xbox, we brought in 1 million new players in just a couple of months. You have to have a working monetization scheme to pay for everything.
There you go.
Calling didn't.
It's a scheme.
It's a scheme.
Curl the mustache.
You know what? Yeah, true. You have to have a monetization system, but that is the stupidest way to implement it.
Not payment model. No, a payment.
Listen!
Delayed that one too.
Listen! I am... You know your scheme sucks. I'm autistic and I see straight through it. You suck as a human being. I hope you go bankrupt. I hope you declare bankruptcy. And I hope you sincerely go under house arrest.
In order to play your 1 or 2 piece of shit matches of the calling. Don't you get it? Oh my god, this is just I have never seen anything like this. One of the worst decisions. It's even worse than mobile games, because mobile games are free up front, but you're spending $7, $6.
Part of me feels for them because they said that free-to-play wasn't working.
Imagine playing Just Cause 3, but everything you blew up, you had to pay 50 cents to blow it up. Good luck liberating Falco with, what, 50 like 20 things to blow up?
Play my game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And you look at here, some of the videos, you can look up videos on why the calling failed. This was back in 2018, and when this game was out, it was 2017. Mostly negative then, mostly mixed then, because of the decisions that this company was making over and over. And even back then, it was $6 to buy it up front, and then later on, it went free to play. But they were making these kinds of boneheaded decisions, you know, this entire time. And for them to think that anybody would buy into this is beyond fucking stupid. So, I'm calling on everybody, do not fucking buy this game, do not fucking play this game, do not encourage these morons.
No.
He needs to realize the mistake that he made. You either charge people up front, if you want to charge people up front to play a battle royale game, which all of your competition is doing for free, that's your thing, man. But don't charge people up front. And then, also on top of that, use shitty mobile game tactics on top of that shit and charge people per fucking match? Match tokens? No! Get the fuck out of here!
I love this dude.
No! Am I fucking crazy?
I mean, yeah, but not for this.
Not for this. Who in their right mind would even pay for a single fucking match?
What if they just charge for bullets instead?
Yeah.
Like, no, only the first.
Shut
the
up,
first
Alex.
magazine is free, but everyone after that you need tokens. Is EA listening?
You shut him up.
Is EA listening?
Shut him up, Joe. This is fucking bullshit. Guys, fuck this game. Fuck this payment scheme. Fuck the calling origins or whatever he wants to call it. This is awful. And I don't give a shit that you have to, pay for servers. Guess what? Every other single fucking game that comes out that's multiplayer has to pay for servers. And they don't use these stupid, shitty monetization schemes. They don't combine the worst two. They don't combine 2 bad decisions on top of multiple previous bad decisions on the 3rd strike. You're about to strike out 3 fucking times. So it needs to change. And then also he's like, let me go back to his fucking video. This is hilarious. So he's like, okay, so this is only for Xbox. Oh, now 4 years, 2 years later, they didn't feel it. All right, here you go.
We found that it presents some the PC version.
PC version is what I'm trying to get to.
Many of you are wondering about the PC version of the game.
Nope.
We found that it presents some unique challenges, but we are absolutely committed to bringing it back as soon as we can, and we'll let you know as soon as we have news on that.
Does anybody see right through that bullshit? What system did the colon come out on? What was it developed for? The PC is like, the PC has some...
You're saying you have issues putting... Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I know every game developer has, like, some different flaw to it. Let's go back. Do you know... Does anyone here know what Just Cause 3 is? If you know what I was talking about yesterday, I mentioned how you could bring the frame rate down to a slideshow like Hellscape so bad with an autocannon or Bavarium, like any mechs in the game, any one of the 3 mechs, the Bavarium Splitter, autocannon, or Reaper mech, you could literally bring the frame rate down if you went to go destroy a base with Force Pulse. Now, if you don't know, Force Pulse in the game, it just destroys everything in its path. And when you destroy multiple items, that's when the game starts to get destroyed. At least on PlayStation it does. You're telling me that my PlayStation can somewhat survive not getting melted by intense physics from Just Cause 3 and 4, but you can't fit a stupid-ass, like, what's it called, Battle Royale game on PC? Dude, that excuse is illogical. There's 2 engines that are good. Apex engine and Unreal engine. Apex does the freaking, Just Cause 3 engines. Unreal does things like what? Fortnite. It does things like Fortnite, Unmechanical, Arc. It does a whole lot of stuff. Unmechanical is literally the best engine on the gaming industry. Nobody competes to Unreal.
Challenges this
Hey,
week.
just did the stamina bar. Give them some fucking
It
time,
took
Joe.
4 years for a stamina bar. Yeah.
Give them some
No,
time.
what it is Xbox is probably the one out there looking for games to go on their console. Maybe they're giving his company a bit of money to make it exclusive to Xbox. So the unique challenge that he's faced is, I can't put it on the PC while I'm giving it on the Xbox exclusively for a certain amount of time, or Microsoft is paying us, and by the way, we need to pay for our servers, and I will just have, we need you guys to pay per match, because if a lot of people play our game, then we need more servers, and we need everybody to chip in multiple tokens every fucking time you want to play. Put a token in it. Nah, man, the arcades are gone. Unfortunately, I would rather go to the arcades and play this fucking guy's game. But anyway, all right, guys, that's it. This is the
Let that be a fucking...
You're back.
Rayce.
To every company out there, just think about doing dumb shit like this. Stop it. Stop
Well,
it.
the microtransactions, he didn't mention that they're getting rid of the loot crates and all this stuff that was in the game. Anyway, so are there going
not be this fucking stupid? What were you saying?
They didn't mention that all the microtransactions are going away, right? So you have to pay for the game.
No, he says they're not gonna, do the microtransactions.
There will be none in the game?
Yeah, these are the microtransactions, but it wasn't 100% clear.
This new approach means we'll no longer be selling crates or
Okay, good.
cosmetic items.
Okay.
That change, along with other modifications to our back end, mean that we're going to have to reset everyone's profile. When you come back,
That's another thing, and so it's a dumbass thing. Now any of your progress that you made, all the shit that you like, it's reset. But well, fine, because the game's dead already, and so it's coming back. So obviously you're going to have your progress reset and all the money that you spent reset.
Well, the funniest line PC Gamer says that their player base is down to single digits. So there was at least 2 people still playing against each other. And
the calling 2. So the calling 2, I think, is still around. Let me check. The calling 2.
What were you
Is
thinking?
it still available? No. They pulled it because it's awful. Awful.
Yeah, they pulled the
And
culling too.
It's not there yet.
Calling of the cows.
Yeah, I'd
like
rather
that
play
one.
I don't want to play that with you. Alright, guys, that's the angry rant for this boneheaded decision. We'll probably expand on this as more details come out because this thing comes out tomorrow. Shame on you if you buy this. Shame on you if you contribute to this because this is going to lead to some fucked up shit.
Once you start smoking, the consequences will find you.
Yes, they will.
Cigarettes may leave you with stained teeth, gum disease, and more.
That's great.
So let's
Here's another fact to add on for people that smoke. Cigarettes can contain a radioactive material known as polonium. And trust me, I used my Geiger counter and it actually reads up. Polonium. Radioactive materials.
The culling was announced back in February.
In the lungs. I actually did a really good, like for the gym, I would, for what's it called, health bacon, I was thinking about to do, I literally made I made a poster that says, would you smoke a uranium rod? No, you wouldn't. Don't smoke. You wouldn't smoke a uranium rod, would you? So don't smoke a cigarette.
Why do you think that causes cancer?
And you can see just from the likes
Yeah,
and dislikes ratio that people liked.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, oh yeah, let me just smoke this. Oh gee whiz, now I've got lung or jaw cancer. Or
If you want to know, dude, you think cigarettes taste good? Texas Roadhouse bread rolls. If you don't eat those, you're missing out.
Didn't like the patches that came out for it. It had a pretty good start with 12,000 players, but over time the player base dwindled quite a bit until we got to, the double digits, and we see a resurgence here and there, but for the most part, you can see that the players just kind of moved away from the game after a series of bad decisions in terms of how they changed the game and some of the updates that they made. It reads right here, fans of the culling were very disappointed when it came out of early access in October 2017 and got 2 whole months of support before Xavier stopped development entirely and moved on to a sequel no one was asking for, is really the best way to summarize this. They abandoned the first game without really bolstering it, without fixing the mess that they had made. And so fans were pretty upset when they found out about the Culling 2. It reads right here, the Culling 2 is out tomorrow and fans are not amused. This is from July 9th, 2018. And you can find the trailer for that right here. Here's GameSpot posting this. And you can see from the likes to dislikes ratio just how unamused people were.
Wow, that compares to almost YouTube Rewind. That's how bad it is.
By the fact that the Culling 2 was
Do you want to play Apex soon?
Existing sort of battle royale titles at this time, like PUBG was getting popular, and it felt like they were trying to replicate the popular battle royales rather than building upon the unique identity that they had established with Culling 1, and so people just absolutely hated this. It was technically just really flawed, just woefully unpolished. The game just kind of looks like garbage. It doesn't look like much effort was really put into it, and so when the game came out,
I like to notice that they actually used the Tavor rifle, which actually the Tavor rifle, they used it as an automatic. Wrong. Tavors are not automatic. Tavors are really cool. They're bullpup 9mm, and I'm planning to do an experimental sniper build when I get the money to buy a Tavor, like a compact sniper rifle. And that'll be deadly at ranged. Used to kill deadly animals. Because why not? Okay, so we have at least, if you're not counting the port, actually, I want to say we're 20, we're what? We're 60% done with the entire town. Yeah, the brand new row right down here. At the port, and we're done. I might even add a giant farm. A slanted hill farm.
154 reviews were posted for this title. And
What? What's wrong?
Oh, that was sweet.
You out of ammo or something?
Nope, Assaultron.
Oh no. Oh, you're in Watoga, aren't you?
Nope.
What?
reviews are at very negative. So undesired was this title that there was really not a lot of players even at launch day. It was extremely difficult to find a game with a decent amount of players. And here is an article from July 13th, 2018 that talks about how the Calling 2's Battle Royale flop forces difficult discussions about future of the developer. Just 2 active users in the last 24 hours. This is just a few days after Calling 2's launch. There were just better Battle Royales out there at this point in time, and the initial fan base of the Calling kind of moved on after how tarnished the Calling became, both the first game as well as the undesired sequel. And so the Calling 2 eventually shut down on July 18th, 2018. It was announced that the Calling 2 would be no more. The game just went completely offline. They funds, and that's because nobody was playing the game. There was just no point in keeping this game online. And so just like that, only a week after the Calling 2's launch, the title was kaput. And that brings us to this message from Xaviant, in which the director of operations, Josh Van Veld, apologized for how they handled the Calling 2, promising to go back to the Calling 1 and fixing that game. People seem to think that he had good intentions, and so the likes to dislikes ratio here is generally pretty positive. People seem optimistic about the future of the Calling. But then, as the months went by, interest for that game dwindled, with other Battle Royales rising, and so on March 18th.
Yeah, 2018, you don't know. That was the good days of Fortnite. I miss those days.
Offline in mid-May, so the very first Calling title was also kind of killed off unceremoniously, and nobody's missing this franchise. And so this is where we stood until the Calling made a return. So here is a tweet posted on May 12th, 2020. It reads right here, "The Calling is back." And here's a GIF that's sort of celebratory in nature, as if to suggest that people are cheering for this disgraced franchise's return. Nobody really cared, but the way this franchise made a return, it is perhaps the most embarrassing return, the most embarrassing revival I've ever seen. And for Xaviant to believe that this is the way to do it, and for them to believe that this is something to cheer at, that they will be met with applause, it's, you know, you would think this is some kind of out-of-season April Fool's joke, but I guarantee you,
Oh my god.
they're deadly serious when they say
That assault charm was in that room and I just closed him in.
servers live Thursday, May 14th, Xbox One now.
That's not
PC
scary at all.
It's only out on Xbox One for now. Big performance enhancements, not FTP or free to play, but if you ever played it, you have it. $5.99 on Xbox Store if you've never played it. 1 free online match per day. Additional tokens options available. Here's the trailer for the Calling's return. For those who haven't seen it yet, you can see that this trailer has been disliked to hell.
Breakfast that's ready in a snap. Lunches you actually look forward to. Dinners without shopping, and prepping. Decadent desserts made from whole, nourishing ingredients. It's Daily Harvest. Get started at dailyharvest.com.
And there's a good reason for that, aside from the fact that the game still kind of looks like dog shit.
I'm really
there's the
enjoying
monetization
Wastelanders,
model
Rayce.
that they've introduced with this title, which is...
Look it, Fallout 76 was a dumpster fire when it came out, but look, it's now enjoyable. There's people that'll go up to level 300 plus.
Kind of reach the apex of ridiculous monetization schemes, but oh no, here comes Xaviant to challenge all.
I know it's dumb. I know it might be dumb, but I think at level 1000 you should be able to reduce damage by like 25%. As like a, almost like...
I think you should get something special for every 100 levels.
Like, come on, like, I know it's dumb, like, level 50, like, 50% off damage, like, reduction if you hit level 1000. Because that takes a long time to grind, and those people that have level 1000, they deserve something for that accomplishment.
I think they deserve unlimited atoms, or just they get sent something.
Dude, why does this look like a dude pooping? At this angle, it looks so weird.
I can't see your stream. I haven't been watching it.
this monetization.
So, I think I might be raiding the vault today or tomorrow.
The vault raids are back?
Is one of the pioneers of the battle royale
No.
genre, and even today it stands
You
alone
raid Vault
as a unique
79, which is a vault with all of America's gold reserves, with either the settlers or the raiders.
That's like a really big event.
No, it's not an event.
Press X to doubt. Our new
It's a
approach
quest, it's
focuses
part
on
of the game.
sustainability. We've optimized our systems to keep server costs low, and we have shifted our monetization approach to ensure that players will be able to
Be right back. I'm gonna go get another cup of Gatorade. Oh my god, I remember my dad showed me this one, when this one woman on, what's it called? Facebook? Oh my god, she hits every shot with a gun she has, if she was in Battle Royale, she has, aimbot. She can probably hit, if R99 was real, she'd probably hit all of her shots, 100 feet away. She is insanely good at aiming with guns. I don't know, it might have been Keanu Reeves' wife, but Keanu Reeves in real life is also really good at shooting. He's absolutely cracked at shooting guns.
Years to come. Oh, no. This game's dead in the water. There is no years to come. There is no future with the Calling Origins, as this revival is being called. It's dead in the water because of your
Why does it keep giving me all the grenade launchers?
and the utter greed and audacity surrounding this release. If you scroll down, we have a bullet point list of things that they added to the game, so let's check this out. Players can play one free online match each day. Players can play additional matches through the following means. Winning an online match grants an online match token. Packs of online match tokens can be purchased. 3 tokens equals 99 cents, 10 tokens equals $3, 20 tokens equals $5. Online passes providing unlimited online play can be purchased for 7 days, $1.99, or 30 days, $5.99. So what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen, is that on top of that initial $5.99 entry fee you have to pay in order to even gain access to this game, on top of that, you've got a pay-to-play system that forces you to purchase tokens that you have to spend in order to play additional matches after that initial free one. It's basically like putting quarters at an arcade, and you can get another free match if you win your previous match. But guess what? The chances of that are pretty minuscule, given that this is a battle royale and there's only one survivor in every match. So at its very core, this is very much a pay-to-play game. There is a fee to just enter matches, essentially. It's not even pay to win where you get to play the game, it's just the chances of you winning are low unless you spend money in order to enhance your abilities and the like. It's not even that. You don't even gain access to the game unless you pay. And then a secondary option is what is essentially a subscription model. 7-day access is $2 and a 30-day access pass is $6. They expect people to pay $6 every month in order to play this garbage. Even if this were free to play, this system would be insulting. But the fact that you even have to pay that initial $5.99,
Hey,
that
Rayce, what's close
$6
to M?
to gain access to the ability to pay.
Wait, what's close to M?
Ah, there we go.
What do you mean?
Hold on.
What were you trying to do?
This is the kind of thing you'd expect people to joke about, except, ladies and gentlemen, this is reality. This is a real monetization scheme for a video game that was already disgraced. This is how Xavian believes they'll win back the hearts and minds of people who were disillusioned at the direction the calling took. Let's read the additional bullet points. The game no longer includes premium items or charges for crates. Players can level up, earn crates, and unlock airdrops through offline play. So they're saying, hey, all of that other monetization we did, all that's gone, except the system you've introduced is far worse than that. At least if you do, loot boxes with cosmetics, you still have access to a core game. What's locked away is the rewards in an egregious manner, but with the case of this Calling Origins, the entire game is locked away. It's paywalled behind a per token fee or sort of this subscription model fee. Again, even pay to win is better than this because with pay to win you get to play something. A longer version of all of this information can be found on Xavian's official website with the headline, "It's back." Like anybody wanted this. This guy's just sort of patting himself on the back under the delusion that people are just craving for the next Calling experience. And right here you can read everything you need to know about the information that I just went through. And here's a link to a video in which the director of operations himself, Josh Van Velde, addresses the community, talking about how happy he is to see the Calling return and explaining everything I just detailed. Unsurprisingly, the likes to dislikes ratio seen here is pretty freaking abysmal. 456 likes to 21,000 dislikes. And scrolling down here, you can read some of the comments, including, "There were some big hurdles in our way. Yeah, now there's just one steep cliff. You guys were asking for us to bring back the Calling. Me, no. We have a payment plan, $5.99 a month. Me, no. We'll see you on the island. Me, go to hell," etc., etc. EA, write that down. Write that down. Is this guy high or something? He looks like kind of out there. This situation would be so much more sane if this guy were actually high, but he actually came up with this entire monetization scheme in sound mind and body. He is literally just delusional in believing that this is the way to revive a disgraced title. You're not the clown, bruh. You're the whole goddamn circus. They got balls, I'll give them that. Not only did they make this video, they still haven't disabled the comments or ratings on this video, etc., etc. You get the idea. People are not happy at all about Josh Van Velde's insulting sort of presentation of this new Calling game, believing that anyone will fall for this con. Now, Josh claims in this blog post, as well as in his video that basically reads this blog post line by line, that The determining factor for this monetization scheme was the expenses surrounding running this game. So it reads right here, we want to tell you that it wasn't a simple matter of turning it back on. There were some big hurdles standing in our way. Running a free-to-play online game can be expensive. The bigger your player count, the more you spend on servers and back-end services. When the Xbox version went free-to-play, we brought on 1 million players in just a couple months. You have to have a working monetization scheme to pay for everything. I love how he calls it a monetization scheme, which I guess is the appropriate name to give this. He's not even trying to hide the fact that this is very much a scheme rather than a fair business model. The culling didn't have that. We do want to say that we really appreciate everyone who did spend money on the game when it was free to play. Your support is what kept it running for as long as it did. The bottom line was that our approach of selling crates and cosmetics just wasn't working well enough and couldn't sustain the game long term. We knew that if we were going to bring the game back to life, we'd have to make some big changes to our model. Dude, the big issue with the calling is that it didn't have any players because you guys kept messing up the game and botched the goodwill surrounding that franchise that had a good start before your updates for the first calling game ruined the game, and then you try to copy other more popular battle royales with a worse version via calling 2. You messed everything up, you lost your players, and that's the reason your game wasn't making money. The fact of the matter is that you don't need a monetization scheme in order to keep a game alive. You need players who are willing to support you and give you money via a fair business model and transaction, whether it be through just a direct purchase or through a microtransaction system that feels fair and that doesn't feel like it's constantly nickel and diming you, like it's constantly gouging you. If this business model is fair and if the game is good and if you respect for the community, you don't have a good business model. A game that keeps up with the times. Nice. You don't have a compelling battle royale experience that people would want to play instead of all the other stuff out there. Have you thought about maybe, I don't know, making a good game that people are happy with? Is that such a crazy concept? And look, I'm not saying that games aren't expensive to make or that online games aren't expensive to run, but guess what? Many similar games face the same challenges, and they find ways to overcome that without having players pay.
Bacon, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
So if I ask you multiple times, do you want to play Apex or is that a no-go?
I'm just doing 76 currently. I can't get on it.
How long will it take?
I don't know.
Alright, thank you. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go see what he's barking. What is it, baby boo? What is it barking? Yeah. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? I'm going to take a break stream. I think I've accomplished more than I really wanted to do today, and I think I deserve a break. Maybe if we're lucky tonight, I could probably try to finish the town. That's if I want to. If we can't, I'll probably definitely consider the town either tomorrow or the next day. And we can go back to Riversburg and then start finishing that town up. And yeah.
I'm enjoying this Wastelanders.
Bye.